Hello everybody, and welcome back to the stream. I think it's been a week of no streaming. Let me make a today command here. Adam didn't stream all of last week due to being sick. He's probably 98% well now though, so he's going to try to get back into the normal schedule. It's playtesting week. There are 3 sessions booked for this week. Today, tomorrow, Thursday. Adam wants to start pruning, wants to do a mixture of planning, development, and pruning items from here. Okay, how many characters is this? 374. It will fit. So yeah, I made a lot of progress. I just talked about playtests. I did 2 of them so far. I had a friend play who had never seen the game, and I had my wife play who had seen the game during checkpoint 1. And the friend really liked the game. He played for 90 minutes. And my wife, I think he liked pretty much everything. My wife played for about an hour, and part of the reason is like we skipped the farming game and she skipped the loot boxes game. And she liked it overall. She commented about the loot boxes game that she thinks the interface is what stopped her from liking it as much. I think there are some things we can do about that. The game itself, I think we can also improve a little bit. So I don't think this will be up everyone's alley. I think, hey Rod, thank you for the resub. Happy half year. Good morning. I think the biggest worry I have is any game that isn't up someone's alley. Well, any sub game that isn't up someone's alley is a point that they might quit. And yeah, if they quit, then they never give the game another chance. I mean, that's what quitting means. So if you do come across a game where you're like, this is too difficult, or this is not fun, or this is confusing, then yeah, you might be like, well, this is just a bad game. And actually, the final game, she found the Dungeon Racer too difficult, but I kind of made her stick with it, and then she really, really liked it by the end of it. And C17R, happy 3 years. Thank you for the resub too. Very kind to both of you. Hope you're both doing well. So anyway, I want to keep an eye on this stuff. I think we're going to do, like I said, a mixture of a bunch of different tasks today. Yeah, tons of progress, even though I was sick. So I was sick. I wasn't streaming, but I was still working. It was very weird because most of the time when I'm sick, there are a couple of days of heavy symptoms. And this was like 7 days of moderate symptoms. So I was coughing, I was taking medicine, but I was pretty much able to think. And I made some pretty cool changes. I'll show off some of these. I hesitate to do too much of this because some of the people who will be playtesting will see these changes on their own. So if Matt or Kevin are watching, stop watching. What happened here? That's strange. It's not loading up. Yeah, that's strange. I can't stop it either. Okay, we got to figure this out. Well, how about we come back to that? We'll do tenants, but problem, I can't even start the game. Something is wrong. All right, let's get through tenants. Where was the last tenant review we did? It must have been 2 weeks ago, yeah. So it is now August 3rd. Sustainability, I don't remember 2 weeks ago, but I was sick last week. It still went fine. I did work throughout the week. Breaks, probably fine. I took a decent amount of breaks while sick. And grit, I definitely felt that I needed this one for some of the bigger changes. I got through some more cutscenes and some polish that weren't my cup of tea. but I'm really glad I did. And yeah, overall, everything is going pretty well. Yeah. Hey, Pickle. Good morning. How you doing? How was the week without me? All right, tenant's done. So yeah, why can't I start the game, and why is this just like stuck here? PSG Godot. That's not supposed to be there. But that's is that still running? It is. Okay, kill 2362. PSG Godot. Didn't even notice I was gone. So I like to hear your existence doesn't matter to me in the least, Adam. Hey, Love. I think I'm pretty much recovered. I don't know. I had like a small little regression on Friday. Yeah, I'm hoping everything's fine. I mean, we'll figure it out. The way I kind of gauge these things is, does my productivity seem roughly the same? We're not going to be doing probably too much just straight up development today, although there will be some. So yeah, as long as I feel like I'm getting rid of stuff. You know, in fact, I kind of thought of things in terms of there are like two overall phases when it comes to a project, for me at least. There's the to-do building phase, and there's the to-do destroying phase. And this is where I want to be right now. So while we're doing these checkpoints and making games, we're like, oh yeah, we've got 7 other items today that didn't exist before because I finally tackled some part of the game that needs to be developed. And yeah, now I want to get to the point where it's like, hey, let's go make a Steam page. Let's rebrand the Discord. Let's whatever else that we have to do. There's a lot, and it's on this list. But yeah, step number 1 is figure out why can't I even start the game. And why won't this stop? Oh, this is the editor itself. I think this is fine. So if I hit play now, will this work? This doesn't even... Okay, let's just quit this. Restart IDE. Just disconnect, I guess. It's not running anymore as far as I know. We destroy stuff sometimes. Hey, Depson. I don't think this is gonna do anything. Oh, okay. I wonder if it sees that it's no longer running and that was enough. Surprised disconnect didn't do anything then. Should have also seen that it wasn't running. I hope this works. I hope I don't have to restart my computer. I had some weird issue happen the other day while I was not streaming, which is that I would move the mouse around. Like imagine I'm moving just like this, but then I stopped moving my hand and the mouse is still moving for a little bit longer. It was just a little bit delayed. And I was like, this is spooky. I don't know what this is. I restarted my computer and everything was fine. So yeah, I still don't know what that was. Please open. It's like, it's trying to open this, but it can't. Yeah. That's not good. Maybe I need to restart Godot over here. Oh, Godot is frozen. Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, man. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I needed to close Godot. Weird. What would cause that to happen? Maybe the plugin got broken? Huh. Yeah, I think everything's fine now. Yeah, nice. Okay, everything's fine. Yeah, so I wanted to show this off. Like I said, if the playtesters are here who are going to be playing this week, please do not watch this. But I want to show a few different things that happen. So one is... when you kill the boss... Oh, I made it so that bullets get upgraded as you get more power. But when you kill the boss, watch what happens. So it makes this roar effect and drops like 1,000,000 upgrades. And when you get enough of them, you now shoot 5-way shots. And then you're like, well, okay, but how do I leave the game? And so far there have been 2 playtesters, and they eventually walk around here while shooting, and they realize, oh, I'm doing damage to the wall. And then it blows up, and you can walk right through it. I added cutscenes. So this, I'm a little bit not sold on. Like, this is a top-down character. So there's still physics here. You can't walk down through these platforms, but you can just float up into the air. And you can shoot and everything, too. And I think this is neat, but I don't know if I want to keep that, because everyone's like, oh, why can I defy gravity? And, like... it's part of the brokenness of the game. But yeah, now there are cutscenes in the office with all the different characters, and there's dialogue here. I have not themed it yet. So anyway, all that's working. And then the other thing I did, I think that's mostly it. I added the cutscenes. I polished the games a lot. I balanced the top-down shooter. I probably changed some of these other things too. Oh yeah, I made the sickle work. Schrodinger's, thanks for the resub. Happy 22 months. Yeah, so check this out. Now if you use the sickle on grass or on flowers, it'll chop them up. So it's just a nice little thing that people were expecting, and now it works. This was, I mean, it's not like the greatest looking effect, but yeah, it's cool that we can do that. Also, if you use the shovel on something, we now have a spinning animation of it flying out of the ground, which I think is also pretty neat. Because before this, it looked a little strange. If I go over to the house, for example. So you used to just dig this up and it'd just be gone. Now you dig it up and it flies out of the ground. So it's like, oh, okay, I know what I dug up here. And I know it wasn't just like a totally unintended thing. So yeah, I like this a lot. I think this is cool. I changed what happens in this room. So now you get in here, Sidekick comes in and says, wait, there's nothing here. I should have known better than to trust a man in a wizard hat. And you press the chair and it makes a sound. Did you hear that? It came from outside. Hey, Font. Would work on ZMK. I don't think it would work without making changes, because ZMK is just fundamentally a little bit different. But I don't imagine there's anything too specific about it. But yeah, I haven't used ZMK. So now we have another cutscene in here. This cutscene is one where, oh wait, no. Yeah, this is the one where the sidekick comes in. And then we have a different effect for zapping him out of here. Well, my wife asked, did he just kill him? I was thinking like, no. So maybe I need to make that clear. And then the final thing here, we have the dungeon racer. If I go to this and this and this. Oh yeah, I made a lot of little changes here. Like when you get an item now, it says bombs. And we have, I think we had the inventory screen already, but yeah, so let's do, I added signs. You can slash the signs to destroy them. But yeah, anyway, I'll show the winning sequence here. Let's upgrade the power up so I can move a little bit faster. So I'm just going to zip through this. We should win pretty quickly. There. I went not there. Yeah, here. Okay, so now here's the winning sequence of this. So you get through all of this. You get to the end. You should have 1,000 coins by the end of this. And then you get plopped back in the Architect's Realm, where you can just dash over here. You can place bombs if you want to. And make it back to this for the final cutscene. So yeah. May encounter some drift or quirks where ZMK won't pay the two. You might, but I imagine it wouldn't be probably too crazy. But I would try to find someone who knows ZMK. So like ZMK one-shot mods, there's probably a way to set this up. Yeah, they have sticky key behavior. So I think you can use this. But like I said, I've never tried this stuff myself. So I'll link these docs. I have actually been thinking about getting the Zimmy keyboard. Where is this? I've shown this on stream a bunch of times. I don't even... Man, I got to figure out how to do this more easily. There we go. Okay. So yeah, this keyboard. And part of what made me think about this, Keychron just announced the Nape Pro. This is kind of an interesting product. It's a very, very small trackball. And you're supposed to put it at like the base. They have some pictures here. You're supposed to put it at like the base of your keyboard. It's very tiny. And that way, with your hand kind of close to where the space bar would be anyway, you can just move your thumb downward. Or you can put it on the left side or right side of your keyboard, and there's a bunch of different shortcuts and everything. And I thought about this, and I'm like, look, for a corn, it doesn't probably make a lot of sense to use. My keyboard's not rectangular. Where would I put it? I can't really put it in the middle because of these cords. I can't really put it off to the side. So then I thought, well, why not just have the trackballs on the keyboard itself? And these have cords. Wait a second. Yeah, these have cords coming out the top, which is a little bit better than having them come out the side. And it's a wireless keyboard. But yeah, I'd have to build this myself. I'd have to make the parts and everything. I just don't feel like doing that. Yeah. And it's not like it'd be cheap. You dropped them. Oh, keep it as a regular mod on secondary layers. Interesting. Yeah. I like one-shot mods. I guess I use it pretty often when it comes to shift. if I'm typing, no, maybe I only sometimes use it, I guess. I have to think about how I do this. No, I still try to hold shift for that. Huh. I wonder if I, yeah, I wonder if I do use them for one shots. I have to think about it. Okay, sometimes when I press Command Shift, I do. I guess just that could be a one shot. Anyway, I don't know. There are probably ways I could optimize my layers still. All right, so this is done. Tons of progress. I showed a lot of that off. Main thing, I think we're now in the next stabilization phase. I have so many tasks I want to do that aren't straight up development. I also want to make use of my AI quota, probably slot in some dev tasks. Please give me feedback on how the streams go. I think there'll be a lot of clerical work. Yeah, I emailed Valve and I asked, like, do I have permission to set up a Steam page on stream? So I'm hoping they get back to me at some point. I think I rarely use mine. Well, I mean, rarely use as one shot probably. But yeah, Command Shift I think I do use as one shot every once in a while. Like if I'm in a file here, let's go to just this for example, and I pick this. Yeah, Command Shift I definitely use as one shot. So like I don't try pressing. Oh, I can't even press it. That's why. Because I use 4 fingers to press Command and Shift, so now I can't press L because I don't have another finger left over except for my pinky, which I can't like rotate around. Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, this stays true. In the next week, we're going to be doing a lot of random stuff. So let me know how people feel about this. All right. I'm going to start with some of the feedback from my friend and my wife. Let's see. Farm zones have some funky grass placement at the bottom right after the farm after the dream. This, I think I should file for dark. Tasks for dark. Yeah, and I should just get a picture of this. Yeah, I'll put this here. Note some of these are probably due to how Y sorting used to work. I would just ignore changing Y sorting and move where these grass patches are. Hey DJ, happy Monday. Happy August as well. All right, we have to make the agency thing more obvious. Maybe have his answer be exactly what he chooses. Yeah, this is really tough. This is really tough. So we have all this dialogue in here, and Sidekick can answer for himself. Where is this? Yeah, here. Answer seriously, answer cryptically, answer humorously. A lot of video games, the way it works is you have some dialogue like, how are you doing today? And you have a choice like, fine, and it's the worst day ever. And when you pick this, then the next line of dialogue you see is literally exactly that. It's the worst day ever. So like them, you, them, oh no, why is that? Something like that. This makes it more obvious that like, okay, well, whatever the choice was, that's what gets injected into the prompt. If we did that, then it might be clearer that they're choosing for themselves. But then we need to make them pretty small answers at first. What do they say? Yes, agency. Then we just put the next line on a new line. I don't know. We could go in either direction with this. My friend did realize this, and my wife didn't try this part out again because she had already seen it the first time. Or, well, like already knew what was happening, I guess, even if she tried it. All right, you know what? Let's write this down for the game design questions. Story impact, achievements. I don't think I ever talked about agency. Do people understand what's happening with the sidekick dialogue? Idea, maybe we show snippets of answers for sidekick's choices. Yes, agency. Dot dot dot. Uh, you haven't heard. Dot dot dot. Or some other choice. Dot dot dot. And that way it's clear from the words you see that he chose them. A more in your face idea is that we could show sidekick is choosing their answer whenever you press something to try to advance the dialogue or choose for them. Yeah. Happy first day of my new position. Wow, yeah. We're in IT access. A lot of my old work has already been passed off to someone else. Transition should be much shorter than I originally expected. Nice. Yeah, I hope you like it. NIEN9E. Quick question. Is she interested in coding like you or just your projects? I haven't talked too much about my wife for her interest too much. She wants me to be pretty private about this stuff, so I'm going to still stick to that. Sorry, Ian. Hey, Cypher. What's up? Happy 11 months. Yeah, I've been out for the last week. Just sick. I was still working the whole time, though. I do think it was a good idea not to stream. I also think streaming adds just enough overhead where I'm just kind of generally less productive. All right, wants the text color to be different between speakers. Yeah, I want to do portraits as well. Did I write this down somewhere? Probably had portraits to make it clear who's talking. We may also want to differentiate text colors between speakers. Or maybe even panel colors for the dialogue. All right, and then my friend said, I was like, hey, any other games you want to see? And he said maybe a WoW-like game. So I want to write that down in the sub-games category. I think we should also probably remove some of the ideas we've already done here. Yeah, I'll write this down. Just a random stabilization thing. Archive already developed sub-games from the design document. Where are genres? Here it is. Genres, a single player MMO. Maybe this is where we have the character creator stuff come into play. Like every time X happens, a new character gets injected into the world. Restoring a messed up N64. I don't know if this one's worth it. Wow. Yeah, I have not ever gotten into hardware projects like that. Hey, Faceless. But that sounds interesting. Also, man, if you could restore like old controllers or something, you could probably sell them. Faceless, you'd asked about patch notes. Yeah, in general, I think that patch notes are appreciated. What I was talking about, and I can show this a little bit here now. If we look at Slay the Spire 2 on Steam, they have some patch notes here somewhere, like this, for example. So some of this is patch notes, some of it's advertisement. This is actually not a great. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so like this stuff. Buffed Meow's Abundance, reworked this, changed this. This is really good. I like this detail, but like I said, this is kind of tough because unless you're very familiar with the game, like you read this and you're like, what was that? Like, where does this show up? Or what is this? What did this ever used to do? What is this card? So I like when developers do something like that. Hearthstone actually does a pretty good job with their patch notes where they'll show you a card and they'll list out the old and new stats. And that way you can be like, oh, right, that card. Because sometimes different players recognize cards based on different things. The name, the voice lines, the artwork, the colors or the mana cost or the text or something. And yeah, just seeing literal written out text here might not have some of those triggers for you. So I don't know if this is even helpful for the question you were asking, but at least that's kind of the stuff I expect. Hey, Jesta. SSL. Super small land. That's right. SSLRPG, I guess, yeah. Extra detail matters. Extra detail does matter to me for a lot of this. And I think part of what, I think you have to think of like, what is the benefit for the player or what is the downside by not including them? And the benefit for the player in a lot of cases is just clarity on whether they should play again or what they should play. If you read patch notes and they're like, hey, we overhauled everything, and that was it. That's just one sentence. You'd be like, well, what, like, is the new player experience different? Is it the tutorial? Do I even care about that? Is it the end game? Is it the balance of things? All right, so we can delete this stuff now. Want to file most of this. She said the Architect Realms music probably needs to be volume balanced. All right, let's go listen for that. Yeah. Well, that is very neat. Also, if all I recognize that part of this might be about hardware restoration, but there's now the analog 64, I want to say. So if all you want is like a working N64, for example, this is an emulated, it's emulated hardware. Like there's an FPGA in here, I think, and it's otherwise supposed to be, I don't know, like one-for-one replica of the N64. And I think there's some argument about whether it actually is, but you probably already know about that sort of thing. Have to be explicit on Steam. Can they link externally? Because you'd have brief notes on the Steam page, hyperlink to a more detailed update externally. I think there's no requirement on Steam that they have to be on Steam, but I think you could, through Steam's Markdown, make them all much more understandable through Steam. I think one of the problems with Steam in particular is that they used to have this. It was like the BB code style Markdown, which is painful in my opinion. And then they had a rich text editor now, but I think getting everything formatted well is just usually not worth the hassle on Steam. I also don't know how many people see these posts. You can see your own metrics, but you can't see other people's metrics as far as I know. All right, so yeah, we're gonna try this and we're gonna see what the volume level is. So I'm gonna turn this up. Might be a little bit louder than normal. All right, so in OBS it's showing -24. Okay, let's go to the platform. Peaked at maybe -21. It's kind of hard to tell. Oh my God, chose the wrong option. Can't even read this. What is that number? I literally cannot read this. That's 24? I don't know what that is. 30? Why are these so tiny? All right, this doesn't help. I don't know what these numbers are. Well, that's too bad. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. Everyone back alive and well? I think so, yeah. Was it -33? Is there a better way to do this, I wonder? I guess I could load them in Audacity. You were right. Yeah, these numbers are just so tiny that I can't. -12. Oh, are they? If they're all every -6. Okay, no, I guess so, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. That would help. Hey, Sean. I think it's chalk spaced, yeah. All right, then let me go load this up again. Oh, wait, this won't work, though. I changed the volume level arbitrarily. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, no. Let's just max it out, whatever. There. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's listen to the next one. Okay, next. All right, I'm not going to listen to all of this. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Okay, now we have one more thing left to do. And then I'll read chat again, which is to do that. Okay, well, I was expecting this to be much louder than everything else. It's not really. I still need to put some work into this, I suppose. Are you checking they're all below a certain threshold or looking to uniform the value throughout all the games? Not exactly uniform. Some should just be quieter and in the background. And others should be more in your face. And this is one where my wife had said, this is a little bit louder than the other ones, but I think it might just feel that way because there's less going on in the game at that point. I could lower this anyway, though. Yeah, maybe I should lower it. Let's lower it a bit and let's just see. So this is in Architect Realm. And maybe different visits have different audio levels. In fact, you know, let's just do this. Each time, or what is the current volume level of for each time the player visits the Architect's Realm? What are the current volume levels? Yeah, so the medium. Now, something I learned, so they lowered the pricing of Luna. They have the like 3 levels of models, Luna, Terra, Sol. And Luna is like dirt cheap. So yesterday I was trying to, or no, 2 days ago, I was trying to get through my like beginning of my quota. So at the beginning of the week, this is 100% remaining and there's no time down here. So there's no reset time. So if you never use it, you won't ever have it reset automatically, which wouldn't make any sense anyway. So I was like, all right, let me try Luna out just for laughs and I'll just do a couple of prompts, right? It took like 6 prompts before this even went down to 99%. So this is like dirt cheap for the plan. And I think it's great for asking straight up questions like this. It costs next to nothing. 0 whenever you visit, really. Interesting. And platform realm, -2 when playback begins. Interesting. Hey, Kyle. I'm doing much better. What is the rest of this? Godot question. When I started developing my game, it was on 4.5. I heard horror stories about upgrading and not breaking your game. What would you recommend? Maybe test it on a throwaway branch because I feel some cool things are in 4.7. So I think it depends on how far along your game is. If you've launched a game, like you've got, let's say, 1,000 paying customers and you want to upgrade the engine, I think you should be pretty careful. You want to make sure you don't break anything. If you have tests, if you have a small enough game where you can just run through everything and test it out yourself, maybe it's better. But like everyone's always gonna have different hardware configurations. It might be difficult. If you are, let's say, 1 month into development on a year-long game, by all means upgrade. Like who cares if everything breaks? It's not like you have players yet, you know? It all depends on how much you think you'll benefit versus how much you think the cost will be. And yeah, the fewer players you have, the lower the cost is going to be. So yeah, I don't know what your development cycle is right now, but I just updated Godot and I plan on doing it at least another time or two over the development of this game. I can always be on the bleeding edge. Hey, Maniac Vine, how you feeling? Also, you did some playtests, right? How'd they go? Yeah, so I'm feeling a lot better. Last week, I still did a bunch of work. The playtests, I had 2 so far. A friend who had never seen the game, really liked everything, and played for 90 minutes, which I was pretty happy with. And then my wife liked most things. She played for 60 minutes because she skipped the farming game and because she had seen it. And the loot boxes game because she didn't like it. So that was a little bit concerning. I'm going to keep an eye on that. But yeah, she otherwise liked it a lot. She was hilarious to watch play the Dungeon Racer. Oh my God. She played the normal like dungeon part and that was all fine. And then she got to the Dungeon Racer part and she started getting like frantic. She's sitting here with a controller. She's like weaving back and forth as she's playing the game. She got done playing and she like wipes her hand on me. She's like, feel how sweaty I am. It was so funny to me. She was like shouting at the enemies in the game. Oh my God. So yeah, and my friend too, who played the Dungeon Racer, he was much more coordinated at the game, but he was still like getting upset at the zombies and the skeletons. And he's like, these things are cheap that you got to nerf these. Anyway, it was very funny. It's dirt cheap and not Terra. Well, there's moon dirt. It's just not like earth dirt. Which order is it? Yeah, so it's just based on the size of the celestial bodies, right? Luna, Moon, Terra, Earth, and Sol, Sun. So they do this with all their naming. It's supposed to be semi-obvious, but like most people don't have a lot of these words in their vernacular. Like haiku and sonnet and opus is the same way, right? A haiku is very short, a sonnet's a little bit longer, and opus is like an actual work. But still, most people look at this and they're just like, oh, they're just random names. So yeah, this is how you're supposed to remember this one. So yeah, Luna's the smallest model. It's the cheapest one. Hey, David. Guys cover other time zones? Yeah, Suppressal could do that. Not hijack your channel? No, I read them. I was listening to music at the time. Didn't like the loot box part. Yeah, didn't like the loot box part. I think, okay, so part of it, it's really hard to know with my wife in particular because I've told her these ideas. So like I mentioned to her, oh, this is a game you can skip. I don't know if she remembered that, but when she started playing, she was looking for a way to skip it and no other game has a way for you to skip it. So like, I think she remembered that was the case. So I'm going to wait and see. Unfortunately, 2 of the playtesters this week are viewers of the stream. I say unfortunately because they will have been introduced to some of these ideas already. But one of them has not seen pretty much anything, I think. Anyway, yeah, so in this game, oh, by the way, we have the graphics now for the character. So if you do customize these, let's say I change the hair color just to green to make this super obvious. And then we go into the loot boxes game. You now have green hair. So yeah, this is really cool. I like that Quickie Joe did this. But yeah, so she was playing this game, and one of the things that she complained about a little bit was the price setting. She said this is intuitive enough, but she just didn't like some part of it. And she really didn't want to read any of this stuff. So she got stuck here actually at the beginning. She's like, what am I doing? She just like walked around a lot. She went around the whole town. She didn't see anything. And this text was on the screen the whole time. It says, now that you have loot, you need customers, interact with the perk board. She had interacted with the perk board. This arrow's pointing here. She ignored all of this. She then walked around town. She came back here. She's like, what do I have to do? Then she came back here. She saw the arrow again, and she's like, oh, okay, fine. So then she got this. But yeah, she wasn't having fun. And I went through, and as part of her feedback, I went through and I like made some of these more succinct. So now the amount of text that's there is a little bit smaller. Did that just move? I think that did. I don't think that's good. And also, I should probably rearrange some of those perks. I should write that down if I haven't already. Is that here? No, I'll write that down. Yeah. Loot boxes, rearrange perks a little bit. Well, those were jokes. I know how their sizes memorized. They're all very big. Well, no, maybe not the exact size. I think most people don't know that. But yeah, in terms of general size, relative size, I mean. Successfully had a player stuck in a tutorial. Yeah, I guess so. Not the goal, though. I found the transmission of the household bug. No, it happened before that, but that would be funny. She gets me sick and she's like upset about the game. All right, so we had AI answer what the current levels are. 0 dB on every visit, farming game 0 dB, but the platformer sets it to -2 when playback begins. So this is actually even quieter when you get here from the platformer. We need this to be set to the same volume everywhere. Why did we set it here and then we also set it here? Okay, yeah, we don't need to do both of these, right? What if I did not have this here? Set music level based on zone. Set music level based on zone. 0. Here. Yeah, so what if I got rid of this entirely? Should still work. So yeah, we have another playtest today, another playtest tomorrow, and one on Thursday. So it's not a secret. The one today is Matt, who's going to be playing. His name on Twitch is Matt, so you've probably all seen him here. And then the one on Thursday is Kevin. I imagine you've all seen Kevin here at some point. Kevin has actually worked on the game, but he hasn't done a lot of work on this particular game. So he said he's mostly going in blind. I'm sure he knows more than the average person would know. So I'll still be able to glean some stuff from it, but I am most interested in new player experiences. All right, so here's what we got to do. We got to turn on the sound. We got to go into the farming game. We got to go over to here. All right, so I gotta listen for this. I want to not talk for a bit. Huh, that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work. I'm surprised. I guess because the Architect Realm visit... Oops, that is not what I meant to go to. Oh my god, what am I doing? Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's what I meant to go to. Okay, so somewhere here we set the music volume, right? Volume. Begin. Do we ever call this from the farming game? We don't. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh, I remember now. Oh, I had a to-do item to do this, and I never did it. I forgot to change the farming game to use this. Okay, well then that code was definitely necessary. Yeah, but then all these other ones are handled automatically. Okay. ABC. All right, so change them all to be -2 dB. Manifest a constant somewhere appropriate. for this. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't remember, unfortunately. I think it was the first time through that she said it was too loud. And if it was the first time, that's actually the quietest that it ever gets. So then she wanted to be even quieter than that. And you know what else might help is when Redbearded played, he said the music was pretty intense as well. I don't know if I changed it in between those times. Where is this code? Architect, Realm, Busy. Here it is. Base platformer game. Okay, let's go take a look at that. Base platformer game. And what does the code say? Line 233. Oh, it's not scrolled into view. There it is. Line 237. Spooky music player. Spooky music player. Right there. Did this line change 4 months ago? What day was that? April 22nd. When did I do the play test? Hang on, let me check my phone. I gotta find out when I had this session, because this will let me know if I ever toned this down or not. It was on May 1st. Okay, so then this never changed after a play test. But I don't think he commented on the volume. I think he commented on the intensity, like the music itself. Well, okay. Let's see. This should have modified everything. It did. We could set it a tiny bit lower. Yeah, we could set it a tiny bit lower, maybe like -3 even. I mean, that's very, very minor in terms of changes. All right, let's listen. Using AI for audio coding. Well, in this particular case, it's just extracting out a constant. We were already setting, you know, either 0 or -2 everywhere. Now it's going to be set to -3 everywhere. All right, again, I'm listening for audio leveling here. I'm not going to talk. These footsteps are pretty loud now. Yeah, let's keep it at that for now. Let's just see if other people comment on it. Hey, bums. Anything else here? Not really. I mean, this is set to -2. It doesn't even need to be. And it's even going to be -3. So let's do that, I guess. All right, cool. Looks good. So normalize architect's realm music volume. It was -2 in the platformer. And this in every other instance. It's now -3 everywhere. Yeah. All right, so done. Rearrange the perks a little bit. Let's go take a look at what they are now. I do want to get into planning stuff. I don't think we're going to do any like intense coding today. All right, so loot boxes game. We don't need music for this. We're just going to go over here. So this is the first perk. It has to be the first perk. That makes the most sense. Max customers is the second. That also makes sense. Then things get a little bit tricky. I try to arrange them mostly based on price, but I guess more treasure stands would go off to the right side if I did that. So you know what would be nice, I think, is swapping. Yeah, let me take a picture of this. So we put this one down here and this one up here. I think that alone would probably help a lot. Yeah, I think that would help. All right, let's go do that. So perk dialogue. So we want more treasure stands. Let me look at my little handy diagram here. More treasure stands to go. down 3. Yep. And then we want treasure frequency to go up there. Yep, perfect. Okay. And that should be it. Let's go try it out. Yeah. Now there is something else we could do here. We could have this show you just a few upgrades at first. That would maybe be even better. Like price warnings doesn't even exist yet. And auto opening doesn't exist yet. Maybe just cut out a couple. And you like level up your town. Maybe you have a town hall for this. Actually, you know what's kind of interesting? Our town hall graphic in Skeleseller has an S on the top of it. And if we put that in this game, it would stand for stuck in a broken tutorial. So it'd work out great. Where is the town hall? I don't actually know where it is. Town. There it is. Yeah, so here's our first tier. It's just a building. Then our second tier added a little skull, which would not make sense, I guess, for this game. But then the third one has an S. It's perfect. For satisfactory town hall level. Hey, Spear. Maybe it stands for Spear. Could stand for so many different things. Okay, that's kind of an interesting idea. Maybe we could cut down on the number of perks you see at any given time by having a town hall that you can upgrade. But the only perks we wouldn't want to have showing would be auto opening and price warnings. We just wouldn't want to show auto opening 50K and price warnings. Price warnings is what? 150? So I guess there would just be 2 levels. Or maybe the town hall level controls the treasure chests that you can get, in which case there would need to be 4 levels. Maybe no town hall to level 1, level 2, level 3. Since we only have 3 graphics. My home. Spear house. Would we, I mean, this might be a complication of everything here anyway, but let's see. Yeah, you'd want these, you'd want this, you need this. You don't technically, or no, sorry, you need this. You don't technically need more treasure stands, extra treasure. So you could hide 4 of these behind this, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Well, let's just write it down as an idea. Yeah. We rearrange the perks. We can mark that as done. I'll just paste this here for now, I guess. Loot boxes. For fun, you should copy. Guessing there's more to that message. Maybe a previous or next page button at the bottom. That way you can keep all perks. The thing is, yeah, in Skeleseller, I guess we didn't even add that many perks when you got the town hall. It was probably a total of like 10 across a bunch of different buildings. But I think the only difficulty, so a couple things. One, I'm trying to address feedback based on 2 playtesters, which I think you should always be careful when you do. Some are going to be really obvious, like, oh, I can't see this color. I can't differentiate these colors. It's like, okay, if one person has a problem, a bunch of people are going to have a problem. But this was like opinion based of like the interface is getting in the way of my enjoyment of the game, was essentially the feedback. And part of it was there's too much reading. So one thing you can do, which I did, is cut down on the verbosity. and the other is cut down on the number of perks visible at any time. Pagination is certainly a way to address this. And another way to address this is like pagination via building upgrades, which is what we did in Skeleseller. I mean, this is in quotes, it's not really paginated. I don't know if it's worth it though, just to hide 2 perks behind this. Yeah, I'm not sure. No worries, Spear. AGD does dev. How's the new project coming along? It's coming along great. It's been about 4 months now of development, and I think it's been moving smoothly. I've done 7 playtest sessions across that 4 months, although 2 of them are very recent, and we're doing 3 more this week. So still trying to make sure if we're on track and everything. Copy paste in a codex, let it one shot all your ideas. Would be curious to see how close it gets. It would be kind of interesting to do that at some point, but I've had it try various tasks on my to-do list, and a lot of them just need more context. Testers who actually give feedback. Well, so the way I'm doing playtest sessions, they're all private playtests right now, and they're all either in person or over a Discord video call. So like I can see exactly what they're doing. I can hear them thinking aloud. A lot of playtesters you get will playtest some part of your game and then just write up some feedback. And that's much less valuable than just seeing them play the game. Because there are a lot of things that they don't even realize might have existed. Like my friend did not know to tell me about, oh, hey, this grass is being clipped here. He didn't notice that. But like I saw it and I wouldn't have noticed it if he hadn't gone down to this section of the game. So I wrote it down as a note to myself. And yeah, if a playtester played this offline, they wouldn't have typed up that kind of feedback probably. The other thing I think you get is a bunch of different like psychographics of playtesters. And I think like the least useful playtester is like the sort of engineer persona. They're someone who makes software, so they start analyzing like how everything is made, and they're not just playing the game. And then yeah, I think it's like people who playtest offline and don't write up good feedback. So that they might say something like I hit a bug in the first sub game, and you're just like, well, what was it? Hey, Remy. Thanks, JD. How have you been doing? I have testers, but my thing is a long-term app that requires consistent use. One person has been okay with feedback. The other's been quiet. Maybe it's just a numbers game and I need more people. I think getting more people is a good start. I also think if you can, and this is true for pretty much all software development, doing a live user session is just so helpful. Even back when I worked at Microsoft, I remember we put a feature in front of like an actual customer, not just one, multiple, but I was only there for a couple sessions. And like seeing them use the product and seeing what context they have as they're going through it is just so helpful. So yeah. Okay, so rearrange the perks a bit. We did this. Rearrange 2 perks in loot boxes. The treasure, well, like both playtesters so far got treasure stands when they wanted item displays. By rearranging the perks, it'll hopefully make that mistake less likely. Too hot here? How hot is it? Hot enough to boil an egg on the sidewalk? I haven't been streaming as much lately because life. Trying to get back into a project I left 2 years ago. Trying to bring it back to life. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I think something I've kind of noticed, at least in the game dev category in the last maybe like year, is that several streamers just kind of stopped. And they said that it's just like they're not as productive or it's not as valuable for them to stream. 86, but was warmer. Oh man. Yeah, I think depending on the whole, inside situation, it's like if you have air conditioning, all right, it probably doesn't matter what temperature it gets to. But yeah, if it was like in the 90s and then you don't have AC and it's sweltering inside. It can be very unpleasant. And I think part of this is probably AI and part of it is probably just the category and is it growing as much? And yeah. All right, I want selected dialogue choice to be more obviously selected. Yeah, this is like probably a task for Kevin. Whoops, did not mean to click that. Tasks for team. Tasks for Kevin. Make it more obvious which dialogue choice is currently selected. Well, in pretty much everywhere probably, but in the farming game at the very least. Let me go take a look at that. Hey, Muriel. Am I streaming full time or do you have a job? Yeah, I've been streaming full time now full time. I mean, I stream probably like 25 hours a week. I do game dev full time. But yeah, this has been my job now for a few years. Dropped off the face of the earth, unfortunately. Completely understanding you're stressed and burnt out. There's a hard category to grow in. Oh yeah, I think also Twitch is not really for growth. I think Twitch is for just, streaming. That's it. I think other platforms are for growth. And Twitch did some things to change this. And I do think it's leveled off. Like there are more medium-sized streamers now. One of the big changes they made is I think the default sorting of categories is now recommended instead of high to low viewer count. And that alone surfaced a bunch of different streamers. But with that said, like I don't think there are that many people going from stream to stream looking for a new like long-term dev streamer to watch. It happens still. It's just not super common. And at this point now, it's not like, oh, people are still discovering that streaming is a thing. It's like, no, people know that streaming is a thing. They know what platforms they can watch streamers on. Some people still don't know that there's streaming development, but it's never been a high interest category to begin with. What was I going to do? Going to take a look at the farming dialogue. So I want to look at the choices here in particular and see if it's obvious. So they're highlighted right now with gray. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, maybe we should change, like add a shader on the button itself that fades it in lighter and darker. Maybe this doesn't need to be a task for Kevin exactly. Maybe a shader that fades the button's lightness back and forth. Maybe we also do the same with the outline. Need to make sure this works for sidekicks dialogue options as well. Oh boy. Okay. Well, what else do we have? Yeah, maybe I put this in the art document. All right, I had to take a quick break because we're at the hour mark and an ad's going to run. So I will be back in just a little bit. Is it jump time? Is it jump time? Is this thing not going to answer? Huh, weird. It had. It's jump time. I wonder if that's going to trigger twice. If it does, it's going to mess up. But anyway, yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't happen a second time. Okay, hello again. Close the game. And let's see if there's another game behind it. No, good. Okay, cool. So where did we leave off here? Idle facing side animation of the farm spray should have the eye farther to the side. How do I load up the tool for this thing? .net. There it is. Yeah, I know what she was saying with this, and I kind of agree, but I think that Quickie Joe just changed the original sprite. So here, if you look at this face, the eye is kind of in the middle of the face. And she was saying it should just be a little bit farther to the right. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I could see that. I think that's what the original artwork used, though. Let me see if I can go find that. Assets I bought, farm RPG, character. Whoa, what's going on? Let me try that again. Pre-made, Miria, idle. So yeah, it was eye and then like 1 pixel of skin and then hair. And that's what we have over here too, right? Eye and then 2 pixels of skin. Okay. Yeah, maybe we change that. What about the running animation? Where's the running animation over here? Huh, yeah, okay, this was changed here. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Recently laid off, considering starting my own company instead of immediately looking for another job. Background is software development and IT. Interested in helping small businesses adopt AI in practical ways. How difficult was it to work for yourself in the beginning? I'd appreciate an honest take on the challenges and what it's really like. Also, hey Goose. So I think some of the challenges are that you don't know what you don't know, and you won't be doing 100% of what you think you'll be doing. So as an example here, let's just take game dev. Like a lot of people would think like I'm going to develop a game 100% of the time. And that's not true, right? You're going to do some amount of business stuff, you're going to do some amount of marketing, you're going to do all the bad tasks that someone else used to take care of in a company. And you probably won't want to do some of these things. Like I've always hated marketing. I don't hate it as much anymore, but I certainly don't love it. I'm not like, oh boy, the marketing phase. I can't wait for that to happen again. So, but it's like, who else is going to do it? And if someone else is going to do it, it's like, well, you need to go find that person or you need to pay them. So now you go find a person, right? Like, okay, well, how do you find out that they're a good person to do this? How do you find out what the best rate is to pay? Then you have to manage that person too. Like, what if they're not doing a good job? What if they don't deliver things on time? What if they violate part of the contract? What if they have a different vision from you? So it's like you're handling all of that stuff. And if you like that, then great, awesome. You're in control of it all. If you don't like that, then you have only to pay someone else or to suck it up and do it yourself. It's like, or just not get the thing done. It's like your options are very limited. And if you have limited resources, the paying someone else is not always the easiest. I mentioned this before, but part of what I did for Skeleseller, and this is work that almost no one can do on their own, is localization work to a bunch of different languages. It's like, if you know all the different languages you're localizing to, then great. Yeah, you could do it on your own. But otherwise, you're either relying on a machine or a person. And I had one particular translator who they just didn't deliver anything for like 3 weeks. And I had to follow up with them and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, everything's been busy. And like, what do you do at that point? You just say like, okay, yeah, things have been busy. Yeah, I guess this work doesn't matter as much. Like, take your time or something. Like, so those are the kind of challenges you're going to run into, and they get annoying sometimes. And I think the biggest reason they get annoying is decision-making fatigue. Like, you're just always making decisions for everything. But there's also the, like, just think of taxes, for example. Like, I don't know if you do your own taxes. I don't know where you live. But in the US, like, taxes aren't the simplest. It all depends on what your situation is, of course. But I've learned quite a lot when it comes to personal taxes. Well, when it came to business taxes, I made like $700 of revenue in all of my time making games until Skeleseller. And that's when I made enough revenue where I was like, all right, I should probably get a CPA. So I had to go find a CPA. I talked about that experience. That sucked. CPAs are just super busy. And I finally got a CPA. and I think she was good, but she charges a lot and she charges by the hour. So I have to be very cognizant of like, am I using too much time? Am I learning everything I need to learn? Is this advice reputable? And then I got to go do all this stuff now based on what I learned from that. So it's like that's all of what you run into running your own business. Now, those are the cons that I'm talking about because you presumably know about what the potential pros are. It's like you have control over what you're doing. You pick who you work with. You reap all the benefits of the business. If you're making money, it's like, well, you're not splitting it with 400 different people. You're only you're like going in knowing what you're going to get. So, yeah, I would say try it out. Like, see if you like it. The other thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these potential problems you run into aren't really problems until you've actually got a business off the ground. Like if you go to start a business today, it's not very difficult. Like you register a business and you fill out some forms. Like that's kind of it. So once you start getting customers, and even then, like most people are not litigious. They're not going to sue you into oblivion. But you do need protections. All right, so I'm going to hold off on this one for now. Idle facing side animation. This I'm just going to comment on in the art request thing. Okay. Farm characters. Eye positioning. Last updated today. My wife commented on how the side-facing animations have the character's eye sort of in the center of her head. I'll just take some super zoomed in screenshots here. Sprites, characters, farm, Lyria, idle. Okay, yeah. Let's just take the first frame. And like I said, I'll super zoom in on this. And then how do we get it to, there we go. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll try to match the exact same zoom level too. Where is the zoom level? 7,900%. And this is idle hold. So let's go find idle hold over here. Where's the tab? There it is. Idle hold. Pick up items. Where's the hold animation? It's strange. I don't see it. Must be in here, right? Oh, I see. It's just called idle, not idle hold. We called it idle hold. All right, so now zooming in 7,900%. This is very difficult to do. That's pretty close. Then go find this and click and take a picture. All right, now we shrink these a bit. I put our graphic versus the base graphic below. In ours, we have 2 pixels of skin to the right of the eye, as opposed to 1 pixel in the original graphics. If you think this is fine, then just like with the hair, there's no need to do anything. Starting a successful business is difficult. Yeah. I think it is tough. And then I think it's, I don't know, there's just all sorts of considerations to make at every point. It's like even with Skeleseller, one of the things I didn't run ads at all. And I think if I'd put in like a decent chunk of money, I think it would have paid off. I just never did it. I never looked back. And I think it was to the business's detriment. I think the other thing is like I still haven't translated to Chinese. So I could probably like double the money I made on the game, and I just haven't even done this, and I probably should. And again, it's like no one else is going to make these decisions. There's no one else to even make these decisions. You think AI is making it easier to run a business as it improves? Could things like bookkeeping and taxes become mostly automated in the next few years? I think it's making it easier. Yeah. And I think something like bookkeeping or taxes, I think those could be made easier. I think one of the problems is like taxes have incredibly significant repercussions if you do them wrong and then get audited. So it's not the kind of thing you want to just trust AI for. You should probably use it to augment your knowledge about things. And the other thing that's difficult about taxes is you don't just learn them and you're done. They change. So at least in the US, it's like there used to be, you'd pay a contractor. The limit was if you paid them less than $600, you didn't need to give them a 1099. But now, as of 2026, it's going to be if it's less than $2,000. And this is actually kind of in your favor. If it had gone in the other direction, then you need to start filing a form that you wouldn't have needed before. But it's like, you need to know about this. You need to get a W-4 from them. You need to submit another form to the government. Across state boundaries in the US, you need to do certain things. I need to call like the Arizona Department of Revenue at one point. It's just, it's annoying. It's incredibly annoying. Hey, Alden. Thank you for the resub. Happy 44 months. Got some nice even numbers there. 44, 33. Used to be higher than 600 a few years prior to that too. Yeah, it keeps changing. Yeah. So like AI could help you with this, but what happens if it told you a number and you're just like, yep, I just trust that number. It's like, you need to ask it for, hey, can you give me IRS backed references? Again, I'm talking about the US, but like wherever you live, you do the same thing. Because I assume no government wants you cheating on your taxes. All right, so this stuff's all been filed. Enemies sometimes glitch with their pathfinding in the corner depending on where you are. Why would this happen? We have monsters in the top-down shooter have this as their movement collision, which has a height of 17. Then we have a navigation region inside of a room, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And it says radius of 12. Well, there's a problem. This needs to be 14. But then won't that be an issue with what are our tile sizes? I guess we could just shrink this a little bit. I don't know how I want to do this. Yeah, I don't know how I want to do this. Let's put a monster in the starter room and see how this will work. We need walls though. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Delete this stuff. I'm going to do a really, really shoddy job at this because I just want to test this out really fast. And then we need a monster up here. So chase monster. Yeah. Wait, where'd the wall go? Why can't I see that? Oh, I see. It's got to be one level higher than this. Okay. What if we just delete the floor? There we go. All right, I don't know. Let's just try this out and see what happens. Personal tax is really easy. Almost everything is pre-filled. You just need to check. Oh, yeah, definitely. But in the US, there are vested interests in not making them easier. Namely, I think Intuit trying to keep them difficult so that you need their software. Are there actually meaningful tax benefits to working for yourself? For example, if you work from home, can you really deduct part of your mortgage or other household expenses? The IRS is incredibly clear about needing exclusive use for home office deduction. IRS home office deduction, which I do not qualify for, but most people probably don't care whatsoever. But they say this here, you need to exclusively use it for your business. They're incredibly clear about this. If exclusive use requirement applies, you can't deduct business expenses for any part of your home that you use both for personal and business purposes. So like most people ignore this clause. I'm almost certain about this. And then they're just like, okay, well, here's the square footage I use. And they probably apply the maximum, which I think is like 300 square feet or something. So you can get $1,500 of tax deduction from this. But like I use this computer for my I play games on it. I like, I don't know, whatever. I message friends on it. It is not a strictly business use thing. So I've never been able to claim that. Like I said, most people just probably don't care, and they probably just do whatever. All right, so we got to go rebuild this and try this out. I also want visible collision and maybe visible navigation, but then we need to go change base monster. Now let's turn this on. And let's turn this and this on. I profit so much by out of making taxes hard that they intentionally keep it hard. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it works. Pretty much the same thing that I think stops people from having like proper internet competition. So, you know, in the US, in most areas you live in, there's like 2 potential internet providers. I mean, Starlink probably changed that slightly, but not too much, I think. All right, so yeah, they got stuck on the edge there for just a little bit. Let me path around here and see. All right, yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. If I take a picture right there. So here, this point on the path is not far enough from the wall over here. What I could do is, well, we could do a couple things. Although actually one of the things you see is that this doesn't line up with the foot. Why doesn't it? It does over here. Oh, because of the way that the animation faces. Okay. All right, so what if we just shrink this a little bit? Now its height is 16 instead of 17. I mean, what if we set it to 14? Is that going to look stupid? Is it going to still be convincing enough? I guess there's a 12 pixel boundary around the outside. What am I doing? Oh my God, turn this off. Set this to 20. Okay, let's go try that now. They still get stuck around that boundary. What? I don't get it. It's supposed to be going up. Oh, it's pathing point. Okay, I think I know what's going on. This path desired distance set to 12. Ah, and target distance set to 16. This needs to be lower. This needs to be like 6 or something. And maybe that would have fixed this for any possible. I don't have the first screenshot anymore. All right, let's just try it again. So go into the top-down shooter again. Do this, do this, do this. All right, do they ever get stuck now? No, but they do wiggle at the edge there. And then ignoring whether they get stuck or not, does that look like pretty convincing movement? Yeah, they're moving around the wall well enough. So why is that wiggling happening right at the edge? How do we trigger that? There, yeah. We're just to the side of them. And they actually are moving. Yeah, they're wiggling quite a lot. I think it's because we consider them to be at their target, but then they're finding the same target point. They don't really move that fast. And we could probably... There's a bunch of stuff I got to test out here. We add in a whole bunch of these. They have avoidance set up, so they shouldn't pack too densely with one another. I don't know what this looks like, though. So let's try this and see. So that's as dense as they can get. Yeah, that looks pretty convincing. Right? Yeah. So now what happens if I can move up here? Yeah, that's fine. I know they get stuck a little bit there. That's okay. Yeah, overall, that's moving. Okay, so yeah, why is that jittering happening? I think there's something directly on the Godot navigation agents tutorial somewhere here. I think they mentioned jitter. Make it jitter in place due to repeated path updates. Yeah. All right, I'll look into this. Hey, Saro, is there a free tax USA or something started by the IRS as a free competitor? Yeah, I use free tax USA. Here for my 5 minutes of freedom. Oh man, how has everything been going? Still a ton of hours, I'm guessing, huh? No, the free filing works for almost everything, or at least Free Tax USA does. Free filing, I think that you're talking about is only if you're using like TurboTax for certain situations. Like you need to be earning less than a certain amount, and yes, it's only for certain forms. But yeah, you can file your taxes on your own for free always. Yeah. All right, so I assume this is the problem here. We have what else? Dancing between two positions, backtracking. Yeah, I think this is the issue. We got to go look at basic monster. Except for I would like to figure out where this is. Base monster is what it's called. So here's our navigation agent, target position. Is navigation finished? Get next path position. Did zero stop moving? What do they say about jitter here? Huh. 8 a.m. to midnight for 3 out of 5 days last week while traveling. Got the full experience going now. Oh man, got sick. No, no. The kappas can't hide your misery, Sarah. Agent gets stuck on a vertex. 100% failure rate. Yeah, I think this is just a problem with is navigation finished? We do call this here, and then we call stop moving. Well, anyway, the changes I made to this are probably gonna need to stay. These are not real change. Well, and those are the wall changes, I guess. But I want to keep. There should be a navigation mesh change in here. Where'd it go? What's it called? Oh, that's weird. Oh, nav mesh maybe? Wait, what? What am I? Something's wrong. What is this thing called? Oh, base room. I'm looking in the wrong file. Base room didn't even change. That's not possible, right? Uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh. What did I do? I think I just lowered the collider size. Oh yeah, I did. Oh, I'm not paying attention. Yeah, I lowered this. And path desired distance. Gotta look at the bright side. Gotta look straight up at the sun in San Diego. Yeah. I mean, I guess you did mention you were expecting it to be this busy beforehand. It just doesn't sound like a schedule I could sustain. Man. Yeah. Well, I wish you luck, Sarah. I wish you incredible luck. All right, let's kick this thing over to Soul High. So I set up a test bed in starter room for monster navigation. Monsters are occasionally jittering when they make it to a corner in a path around a wall while chasing the player. Why is this happening? Mentions needing is navigation finished. but we're already calling that. Okay. Forgetting the word for singular vertex. It's okay. That it's this is my time. My wind down hours watching How to Learn's live VODs. It was a great new game. Did you see the other day when I rated someone? And they said, like, what are you making? I said, it's a game about being stuck in a broken tutorial. I call it Stuck in a Broken Tutorial because I thought that was very funny. All right, so the jittering, and then what do we have here? Maybe let the player try to shoot the architect only for the bullets to bounce off. I like the idea. Both playtesters wanted to. You're able to shoot inside the architect's realm. I mean, you don't really exist. Maybe the bullets will just go through them. I like the idea, at least. I'll write this down. So, based on checkpoint 2 feedback, maybe we should let the player have control over their character's shooting when they enter the architect's office from the top-down shooter. The bullets could harmlessly pass through the architect, and maybe they could comment on it. Is it, I don't even remember what they say right now. What do they say right now? Wait, what is this place? Who are you? They do tell you you can't stay here, but you don't know why that is yet. So it wouldn't really make sense for them to comment on it now, would it? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just delete this for now. Yeah. All right. What did this thing say? Resetting the path every physics frame. No knowledge of their navigation mesh or wall physics. This happens with a single monster as well. Yeah, I think this was stupid. I should have had a clean slate from here. Fix it. Okay, what's next? Need to make it more forgiving if you die like 10 times in a row. Yeah, so this was one of the big problems here. The way the Dungeon Racer works, and let me load this up for people who haven't seen it. Following development of their game now. Yeah. I like Snurish. I think her stream is good. I haven't watched too much, but she seems pretty chill. And I like the game she's making. I don't remember the person I rated because it was before I got sick. So it was now like a week and a half ago. It was probably that Thursday. Yeah, anyway. I think they were neat. They were nice too. Is Codex better than Claude? I think it's in the eye of the beholder right now and what tasks you need it for. I think Fable is probably technically better than Soul, but yeah, it all depends on what it is you're looking for. There's a whole bunch of different things. All right, so Dungeon Racer. I was going to show this off for people who hadn't seen this really fast. So, Dungeon Racer, you're in a normal Zelda dungeon sort of thing, and then you fall down, and it becomes a totally different game. So my wife played this. She was very like frantic and somewhat uncoordinated. She doesn't play a lot of these kinds of games. So like she'd see these spikes and she'd move kind of close and then she'd get hit and you move slower and slower. And if you get hit enough times, like now it's a death sentence. You have almost no chance of winning. You could try to make it a little bit farther, but then she'd get hit by like one of these zombies. And by now she'd be shouting and then the floor catches up with her and she'd die. And, you know, this is like room number 2. So then it's like, okay, great. So then she'd start again, and at first she just did this. She just moved off to the side, and she's still moving slowly. So it's like you're already hampering yourself from the beginning because she didn't pick up her coins again. The floor should catch up. Maybe if I hit once more. Yeah, there we go. Now it's moving like way faster. So anyway, at some point I told her, okay, well, you should at least pick up your coins at the beginning. So she did. She started to do this and pick up her coins. And then, okay, you move fast enough. But then she gets stuck on these spikes. Enough of this happened where she never made it to the first treasure room. If you do make it to the first treasure room, then you should be able to beat the game. So I basically never planned on players not being able to make it there. But yeah, if I work my way around here, I've worked my way through... Oh, well, this would have been a treasure room. But this is the end because I have enough coins. So yeah, if you could make it through like 7 rooms, you'll beat the game. She couldn't make it through those 7 rooms at first. And like we really needed to kind of grind it out. And she got better over that time. So what I'm thinking we do is we make it very, very slightly easier. And I've got an idea for how we'll do this. So when you die right now, red coins drop. Red coins are worth 5. And they get you back up to 100 coins in total. What I think we should do is there's a % chance for red to convert to yellow, which is 5 converting to 10. So maybe you'll end up with 105 coins. It's not a lot, but this chance will keep rising. So that eventually there's like a 100% chance for them to be yellow. And at that point, you're basically starting with 200 coins. If you still can't beat the game then I guess you're out of luck. Yeah, I don't know. That 200 coins means you can take like 7 hits before you actually slow down enough that you'll lose. 7 hits is pretty forgiving. Hey, FWT, new to the channel. Did you code this? Yeah, welcome in. So coins equals speed and intuitive. No, it was intuitive. I think she just got very like frustrated and panicky. And I think the panic is what caused the problems. Because actually, another thing, I feel bad. It sounds like I'm throwing my wife under the bus. I'm not. She just doesn't play this kind of video game. But another problem that she had was... let's go back to that. The collision is going to show. But she'd get to a treasure chest. So let me just give myself a bunch of power-ups here. Alright. More power-ups. There. Okay, so she'd get to a treasure chest, and then for some reason she just started like slashing at it. So I made it so that slashing opens it. You just saw that work. I didn't touch the treasure chest. But I think she was really panicking the whole time. So yeah, I think that not getting coins was part of the panicking of like, oh no, I gotta make progress again. Hey, bad Chris. She mentioned skill issue at some point. Can I buy coins for USD? It's a mimic. Yeah, she successfully slayed the mimic many times over. You can still outrun the floor. Yeah. So I think we'll make it a little bit easier. Maybe the spikes shouldn't appear until room 3 or 4, just so that you likely have some coins stacked up. Well, I'm going to make the spikes less punishing. Yeah, retract the spike hitboxes by like 1 pixel. I think that alone should hopefully be enough. Right now, you can see the shapes here fully encompass the spikes. So if I play this out so that they're fully visible, it's like you can still get hit even here. I'm just going to shrink all these hit... Well, that's the sprite itself. But I'm going to just shrink all the hitboxes and make it a little bit easier. Because, yeah, this was never intended to be that difficult of a game. Did that just change that? No, it didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, let's take a look at this, though, first. Target position is now updated only when no target has been submitted or the destination moves beyond target desired distance. This preserves waypoint progress. Okay, let's just try this out. Should just work. Yeah, now I had thought about, oh, what if we put in rooms with no difficulty? But I do think there's something to be said for learning this. Laxton, thanks for the resub. Happy 25 months. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for learning this. Let's go back into the top-down shooter with our like plum-colored hair. All right, so we should see no jittering now, right? Nice. Yeah, there's jitter. Oh, well, that's not really jitter, I guess. But when you move around the court, oh, I don't know what that. Yeah, like they turn around. That's okay. I do see something a little bit funky happening at the entrance there. They're able to hit me through the wall too. That's kind of funny. I think when I move... Wait, what was that? Yeah, they don't hit me now. I gotta change that. I think that's target position. I think that's a change that it just made now too. Target desired distance is 16. Yeah, we got to lower this to be the hit area here. And this is 14. So I think we set this to 14. We should be fine. But we need to accommodate the height as well. Or whatever the other dimension is called. What is the dimension called? Wait. Where is it? Radius, which is 4. I think we just need to set this to like 6. Oh, no. It's body collision will help for the other side. So no, it's 7 should be enough. 7 should be enough. There we go. Hey, Krasner. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's try this again. I don't know why I'm going to the randomized hair color thing. Top-down shooter, this. Yeah, so now they move right onto the player. And that should work from any direction. Yeah. Okay, yeah, looks good. Let's go into one of the other rooms and try it out. We looking good? It's very dark. I know it's hard to see. Because everything is being covered in the blue of the collision area, which is darkening the whole screen. I don't see any weird things happening. I don't know if anyone else does, but yeah, nothing seems strange to me here. All right, let's try this room. Anything weird in here? Did they slow you down? No, I don't think so. I think it's just my controller being weird. Yeah, looks fine. Well, there. Oh, well, no. This might just be because there's no room for them to move. Yeah. Oh, they're kind of moving into the wall there. Can I do that too, though? No, I can't. Yeah, that's not really the wall. Okay, yeah, everything's good. Cool. Noise. So we don't want to change the starter room, I'm pretty sure. This was all... Well, I guess we do want to change the gradients or something, but I don't want to change the walls. I don't want to add in monsters. Yeah, so let's go revert this. And then I will simply... Well, we'll just remember to load it afterward. And if not, it's not a big deal. Okay, what's this say? Setting target position discards the current path even when the value is not changed. Keep following the existing path until the destination is moved far enough that its arrival tolerance no longer covers it. Sure. Sounds good to me. And then turn this off. All right, so fix monster jittering for pathfinding. This is in the top-down shooter. All right, now we got to go into Godot and load up starter room and then just save it. And it's going to modify some gradients or something. It didn't? Seriously? How is that possible? Huh, how is that possible? There's no reason gradients would have changed. Strange. Okay, well, doesn't matter. All right, so now for some fun changes. So this is done. Need to make it more forgiving if you die like 10 times in a row. So yeah, this is the one I wanted to do here. All right, let's go have this run on maybe Soul Medium here. And I'll do this on a new work tree. When you... I want to make the Dungeon Racers Endless mode slightly more forgiving. Yeah, so when you fall and we drop red coins in a circle around you, I want each red coin to have an X% chance to be converted into a yellow coin so that it's worth more. This chance should start at negative 10%, meaning it's impossible for it to happen. Every time you fall without finding a treasure or without opening a treasure chest, the chance should be applied per coin, not the entire circle, meaning only some coins may become yellow or might become yellow. Every time you follow without opening a treasure chest, the chance should increase by 5%. Up to a limit? I don't know. It doesn't really need to be limited, right? If you die 20 times and you're still playing the game, I'd actually be pretty surprised. Probably be frustrated and just quit. When you open a treasure chest, the chance should reset to negative 10%. Actually, you know what? When you open a treasure chest, the chance should reset to probably negative 15%. Yeah, no, let's leave it like that. That's probably fine. What do you think about the extreme some games do nowadays? That you seem to have died many times, or do you like to skip this section? So what I think is it's sort of like tutorials, right? The ideal tutorial isn't even obviously a tutorial. And the worst tutorial is, is one where they hold your hand so much that you learn nothing and get frustrated. Oh my God, I can't type anymore. I get frustrated. So I think of the same thing with difficulty. Like the best way is that it scales subtly to you. So for example, in Mario games, you die 5 times and then you start with a Starman. They didn't ask you, do you want to start with a Starman? They just started you with one. And I think, was it Astro, what's the PlayStation character called? Astrobot. My wife was playing this game because we borrowed a PlayStation at one point, and I think this game just immediately moved you forward. So imagine some level with like sections, you know, there's this section and this section and this section, and you're supposed to move between them. And if you get stuck on this one, if you die like 5 times here, it just pushes you to the next one automatically. I think that's kind of cool too. I guess asking you is this middle ground, but I think it does a couple things. One, it takes you out of the game a little bit. 2, it makes you feel like, oh, I wasn't good enough. And 3 is it brings to the forefront that it's helping you. So like this is where I like this solution quite a lot. This is very subtle. You might just think, oh, there's always a random chance that you get yellow coins. And you might start noticing it more and more when you die more, but it's not directly telling you like, hey, you're bad at the game, so we're giving you more coins. You're just like, oh, cool, yellow coins, nice. So I want to see if this helps. This is what is also kind of difficult is with playtesters, you sort of have a selection bias that you may or may not be applying depending on how you find your playtesters. So if you only find it based on like, I don't know, let's say like viewers of the stream. I don't know if this is true, but we might just say something like they're more experienced gamers or something like that. As opposed to if I just chose like family members might not be as experienced gamers for me in particular. So I would get a totally different perspective from them. My wife plays video games, but she doesn't play like super hand-eye coordination based video games, or at least not a lot of them. So like she plays a lot of Slay the Spire 2. Slay the Spire 2 is not a game where you really need any coordination whatsoever. It's all about strategy. You can take your sweet time picking a card. You can target the exact enemy you want to target. That's not supposed to be the difficulty of the game. But yeah, something like F-Zero, I imagine you would not have a very good time playing. So yeah, I need more people who are, well, I mean, they need to represent my target audience, but I need more people who are sort of inexperienced when it comes to games to see how does this strike them. And I've got some plans for that, but they're not extensive. Anyway, every time you follow that opening a treasure chest, the chance should increase. I have 2 shoulds there. Should increase by 5%. When you open a treasure chest, the chance should reset to negative 10%. When already in endless mode. Chance should be applied per coin, not to... Yeah, okay. I think this is pretty good. All right, let's have it just do this. I'm not going to have it plan it. I'd hate the game helping me in such a big way by moving forward without asking me. I think it depends on the kind of game, right? If you're playing Dark Souls, yeah, you don't want it to just move you to the next section. Like that's part of the game is overcoming the difficulty. But if you're, I don't know, playing some like, I don't know, like Undertale or something, you might be fine with it just moving you onward. Especially if it's like semi opt out difficulty smoothing. So for example, here what we're talking about is a red coin would become a yellow coin. You could just not pick up the yellow coins. I mean, I don't think you'd ever see someone doing that. I got a friend that plays casually, stuff like Pokemon, popular island building stuff. I could ask her to playtest. I will write this down. I think we're set on playtesters for this particular time, but yeah, I'll write this down. I do appreciate it, Ramy. Write this down. Hang on one second. Let me see if Valve emailed me back. No. Drat. Oh, wait, no, maybe they did, and I just... Oh, man, I have an email address. I don't even know where it goes right now. Adam@bot.land. I don't know how to check this email. Let me go find out. Okay, no, I know where this goes now. Yeah. Okay. I just haven't gotten a response from them yet. I want to set up my Steam page for this game, but I want to do it on stream. And most of the Steamworks pages say at the bottom that this is confidential. And so I just asked them for permission, and I wanted to see if I have that permission. Hey, Magnus. It's August 3rd? It is August 3rd. All right, so maybe add a sign saying if you can't beat them, run. Yeah, it's another thing. It's kind of a meta point about games. Like, some games have you encounter difficulty that you should not be able to overcome. And at that point, yeah, you're supposed to just bypass it. But the game doesn't necessarily make it obvious. It's like, well, you just die 14 times in a row and you eventually try to find a new way around it. And yeah, my wife was trying to fight the enemies most of the time. And sometimes the best strategy is just run away from them. I don't think we need a sign. Well, or maybe we can change the sign in the beginning of the game. Maybe change the text on the sign at the beginning. Maybe it can give a bunch of different tips. I don't think many people would read them, though. All right, well, retracting the hitbox range. Let's go try that out. So where is Spike Trap? Okay, so upper damage shape is here. Let's extend the spikes. How do we... Let's just have it play at 1 frame per second. That way I can stop it at the fully extended spike frame. I wanted that one. Oh, let's just delete the frames. There. Easy. Okay, good. So, fully extended, this actually is perfectly covering the sprite there. So I think that part's fine. I will retract in the sides because I am a nice person. There we go. Okay, now full damage shape, we can also shrink a little bit. And then the problem is on the lower ones. Yeah, these extend too far down. And full damage shape, same way. All right, now the problem is it changed the upper damage shape when I did that. I think what we could do is just move this up a little bit. So now it's only covering the spike part of it. So this is, I think, as generous as I'm willing to get here. Maybe we raise this one up just 1 pixel as well, and we also raise this. All right, let's go see how that feels in the game, though. Hey, Aniso, how you doing? Oh, and hey, Camel Soup. Gamers don't read, they game. I think that's usually true. Yeah. Have the sign creep closer to the player if they don't listen and try to fight. That would be kind of funny. It could also make the enemies easier, make hitting the enemies slow down the falling. Yeah, I want to try just the coin solution and see how that goes. How about a small loading screen between dying and arriving? No, actually, one of the things that's working really well for the game right now is that it puts you right back in the action so that you feel like, okay, it's just one more try. I can do this. So I don't want to add to that time at all. And we don't actually need loading times, or we don't have any, like, we don't have any time that already exists that we could mask with tips. All right, I had to turn this off. Ugh. Be nice if there's a way to turn off all these at once. I don't need to click 6 times. Maybe there's some file it saves to that I could just go change. All right, let's try this out. Oh, wait. Oh, we have spikes right there. We can just try it here. Oh, except for I set their frame rate to super low and deleted all their frames. I'll put all this stuff back. Put this stuff back. Put this back. We just want to change shapes and positions. Good. Okay, let's try it. Nope, hopefully that works. Nope, I just accidentally put it to the right. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Now we can stand this close and not get hit. I mean, this looks like I should get hit here. I want to try approaching them from the left side. Whoop. Almost got hit. All right, there's a spike. Let's go touch the spikes. Wait, that gets us hit. That does. That still does. Okay, interesting. Hold your horses. Why was that still hitting me? Their foot collision area is somewhat large. I see. Should I shrink that? Yes. Hey, Basharis. Didn't your mom ever tell you? Don't touch the spikes. All right, that's fine. How close to the faces can you get now? Yeah, a little bit closer. I feel like I shouldn't change the bottom of the spikes so much. Spikes up here, I can go test. So that still hits me. Oh god, I'm moving too fast. I can't control it. Ah, man. Well, it'll slow me down now. That's good. Yeah, this was stupid. The spike, the lower hitbox should be lower than it is. So we should lower this down to there and this down to here. And then if anything, the player should shrink a tiny, tiny bit like that. And even that I'm not certain about because now it means you might clip it with the walls. We're going to have to try that out. Change to Dungeon Racer. No, that looks pretty good. Well, not when you're moving up, it doesn't. No, I think we get rid of that. I don't know. Looks good for everything except for walls. And it's just when you're moving upward, there's 1 pixel of your cloak that goes behind the wall. Or downward, I guess. No, wait. Not downward, just upward. Top though. I put Y sorting on walls for some reason. Let's just try touching stuff and see what happens. Yeah, I think this is fine. What about these walls? Whoops, I meant this. Yeah, that's good. Looks fine. Yeah, I think it's okay. My friend did not see the torches at the top of this room. He understood what to do, but the sound cues clued him into when he was supposed to do it. So he did the wrong order. So imagine doing like this now. And then there's a little bonk that plays. That dun dun. He heard that at the end. And he's like, okay, now I'll just start the process again. So it still worked. He still managed to make it through this room. And my wife didn't have any problem with this room. I think she noticed the torches. And then my friend saw this and said, I wonder what I'm supposed to do here. But he did not, he was not ready for what would happen next. And actually both playtesters, they saw this happening and they're like, okay, let me run away from this. And they both made it over to here and were trying to stop themselves from falling. So I thought that was pretty funny. Now, let me snooze this ad for a second. Neither person really used bombs all that much. I think it's not clear that they're going to kill an enemy. So if you think they're just going to damage an enemy, like your sword, you might not use them as much. So yeah, this room gave my wife a lot of trouble. She learned that the skeleton down there is something to be avoided. So she did try taking the top path, but then she just kept hitting spikes over and over. So yeah, now that we've lowered the hitboxes, I think this would be a lot easier for her. And I mean, for every gamer. I put the sign here. Sorry I'm late. Collect coins and move faster. So many times she came so close to getting a treasure chest, only to die one screen before it. I felt so bad. It was very fun to watch, though. Oh man, I'm looking forward to the playtest session today. I think there are generally like two strategies here, not that it really matters because I don't think people are going to replay this game a whole lot. But one is to just try to move forward as fast as possible, and the other is try to like use every available coin source. Like right now I could go down here and get 10 coins. Oops. Busy messing everything up. Yeah, I think we've done good things about the collision here. Level 3 boots now. It's also nice that the treasure chests say that. Before, you'd have to press minus and look at these, and you still have to figure out what they're doing. Might change the UI on that a little bit. Coin magnet. Look at it go. I think it's a pretty cool game though. There are little bits of polish that I want to add. And I think this is a game we could have you return to and add more power-ups and have like the lava world or something. after you collect all the power-ups, you only start getting gems. And then the game gets like trivially easy. Alright, we get the final shield here. And now if I just race ahead, there are gems. Or coins, I mean. More coins. And one more treasure chest and we should win. Yeah, pretty neat game. There we go. Now we just have to make it a couple rooms over. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm going to take a break and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up these loose ends. And I think that should be practically everything with the feedback here, except for this one, which is pretty easy. All right, is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, hello, hello. Close the game. Hey, Maple Leaf. Sorry, I took a break right after you sent your message, I think. What controller or gamepad are you using? I see there's some kind of band. The controller is just plugged into my computer directly, but it's a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. The first Pro controller. It's not the best anymore. All right, so we're gonna go check this in. This is just changing hitboxes in the Dungeon Racer. The player's foot collision is smaller, so they can get closer to everything now. And spikes are smaller in almost every direction, so they're more forgiving to the player. And I don't think it's very much, but those two combined makes it so that if someone's going to get hit by spikes 100 times before, maybe now they'll get hit by spikes 87 times or something. I don't know. It's like a slight improvement. So this is done, and then this is done on a different work tree. Yeah, so if I hit commit over here and we just do this, I made a new tool called, well, I didn't really make this, I guess. I guess AI made this, but merge codecs, where I just run this and it'll go find out where that just committed it. And I just press enter here, and now it is mine. It's not like it's very hard what that just did, but still, it's nice that I have it. So now we run this, and now this is going to start. We got to keep track manually for right now, but it's at negative 10%. So we're going to go over to here. It should still be negative 10%. Now negative 5, 0. So I take some hits. Now it's at 5%, 10%, 15. So we see one yellow coin. That's the first one we saw. Now 20, 25, 30. Now we see a lot of yellow coins. 35%, 40, 45, 50. So now half the coins should be yellow most of the time. 55%, 60, 65, 70, 75. Yeah, this is working. 80. I just want to see 85, 90, 95. Now every coin should be yellow from here on out. Yeah. Now, if I get hit some more, we'll still see a bunch of yellow coins show up. If I go get a treasure chest, though, it should drop back down to negative 10%. So let's go find one treasure chest. Should be coming up. There we go. So we get this. Now it knows that we got a treasure chest so that we can make some progress. I gotta get hit a bunch. And now we should see all red coins drop. Not a single yellow one. Perfect. All right, now that we have coin magnet though, it's harder to test because we actually do need to get hit every time. But I just want to make sure that, yep, there's a yellow coin. Okay, so we're probably good. Yeah, I think we're good. Nice. All right, I like that change. It's very subtle. I think it would be appreciated by players. Hey, Jondar. Would you recommend I go learn about best practices for tile maps? I feel like when I make them in tile, they don't look as good. I don't know. Yeah, I am not very good at design myself for that sort of thing. I think one thing you could do, and there are a lot of different websites to support this. Like I think there's VG Maps. Yeah, you can just go take a look at what other games have done that have been successful or just that look good in your mind. So like, wait, what's going on here? It says The Legend of Zelda, but this is, yeah, this is NES. I clicked Super Nintendo, didn't I? Link to the Past. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so like, I think A Link to the Past did a pretty good job. Now, I actually do think there are some issues with A Link to the Past that I have. And I've watched a lot of people play over the years for the first time. And one of the problems I have is that, I don't know if it's going to be easy to find. They use cracked walls and floors sometimes just for aesthetics. But that's like a huge problem in a Zelda game where cracked walls and floors are supposed to just denote you can bomb this. And I don't remember where it happens, and I can't find it quickly through here. Yeah. But I know that happened somewhere in the game. Anyway, my point was you can go looking through this and you could just see like what did they do for the floor? What kind of palette did they use? How did they lay out tiles here? What is the, in your mind, the visual hierarchy as a player? Like where does your mind go when you see this? Well, probably the sprites like this and this, probably maybe the torches. Maybe you look at the room layout a little bit. You see the doors at the top and the bottom, maybe the stairs. But like you're not looking at the floor too much. That kind of fades into the background, which is what you want because there's nothing interesting about the floor. But there are still some ornaments on it. So I don't know if you're looking at it more from sprite designers, how do you literally lay out the tiles? But I think just looking at other games can be a good idea or can give you good ideas. But in general, Darkstorm's made a lot of the the worlds for this game, and he does a much better job than I do with this stuff. All right, so this is looking good. Let's go take a look at this. Place coins in circle, yellow coin chance. We pass this in from the different game. Sounds good. And this only happens here. Yep. Recovery, yellow coin chance increase per fall. Looks good. Should adjust coins after fall. Where's that done? Why is this saved? This is stupid. Unless we use it somewhere else. Oh, wait, we probably do after we... Oh, wait, I don't see this anywhere else. Ah, I see. No, we do need this here. Yeah, whenever you fall, we do this. Where do we do this when you get a treasure chest, though? Recover yellow coin chest. Oh, we set this back. Wait a second, then. Isn't this pointless? Hang on, I'm missing something here. Reset as endless dungeon. Wait, this already existed? Oh, man. All right. Shows how much I'm paying attention. All right, so this looks good. I'll write that this is a catch-up mechanic in here. This combined with recovery yellow coin is a catch-up mechanic for players that find it too difficult to get even their first treasure chest. Will replace more and more of their red coins with yellow ones so that they start with more total coins. Yeah. All right, so add a catch-up mechanic to the dungeon racer. Now, I haven't figured out the exact breakpoints, and it doesn't really matter. 100 coins is what you start with, and at 0 coins, it's impossible to win, pretty much. And 1,000 is the max, and 500 is the, like, win condition. So generally, somewhere between 100 to 200, you're fine. You're going to be able to play the game. So that's... This has a negative 10% chance at first that rises by 5% every time. So the first 3 times you can never get yellow coins. Then it's a 5% chance. You drop, if you were at 0, you drop 20 red coins. So that means that on average, you will have 1 yellow coin and 19 red ones, which means you'll end up with 105 coins. Will you notice a difference? Not really. No, you lose 20 every time you get hit. So you're still going to be pretty close to dying. But yeah, once you start getting 2 or 3, you might notice a difference. It's like 1 extra hit. But hey, this is why we play test, right? If I find someone else who's like really bad at the game and they feel like, oh man, yeah, the yellow coins help, but I want more of them, then fine, we ramp it up by like 7% every fall. Who knows? All right, so do we want to do this? Change the sign in the beginning. There is a sign right now that is there when you fall. Here, I'm a idea for video games that makes fun of video game tropes, an actual catch-up mechanic. I wanted to be careful about puns that only work in English because I am going to localize this game, and if it's just like a single joke, I think that's fine. But if the game pivots around an English pun, I think it'd be difficult. Okay, so signs tell you stuff. This one says, watch out for worn down walls. When you get to this, though, you have to go left, which is toward the falling floor. And this one says, just like you, I fell from above. This is not supposed to help you. And then it falls again. And it's just going to say that forever. What if this changed what it said, though? So because it's to the left of you, I don't think you're going to go seek out what it says every time. You'll just assume it says the same thing. So I don't think it's a good idea to do. So let's drop it. I do like this idea of putting a sign somewhere that says if you can't beat them, run. Maybe that should be in the zombie room. Or maybe in the night room. Yeah, maybe in the night room. I don't know which one the night room is, though, because I didn't name these in any descriptive way. So we just gotta go looking through them until we find it. We only added nights. It doesn't matter. Let's just keep searching. Oh, come on. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, maybe we put a sign in this room saying, if you can't beat them, run. Maybe up here. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, I'm just going to have AI do this because it's easier. Add a signpost to local, what is this? Dungeon Piece 9. Dungeon Piece 9. That says, if you can't beat them, run. Don't worry about the positioning. I'll move it myself after you're done. Okay, then we set this to Luna high. And we use almost none of our quota. Now, I haven't done a lot with development today. But yeah, using just we use 3%. It's really not bad. What a sign talked and yelled at you to run, like a speech bubble popping out of it. I think these would be cool things to do, maybe toward the polish end of this. I'm also debating on like, what is the sign? Because in most games, a sign is just a sign. But in this game, it could be an agent. In which case, it could say different things to you. And have more of a personality. Join him as crossed out. We could add that, not the writing over it with red just yet, but we have the signpost as a rich text label. We could turn BB code on, and then say set via code. Are these auto translated everywhere? Ah, they are. Interesting. Actually, yes, very interesting. I don't know how we should change this. Oh, we just don't put this scene inside the thing. Yeah, okay. Anyway, okay, so what I was going to test is there's strike through somehow. I don't know how you do this. Maybe, is it S? Hello, world. Where did this go? There it is. Yes, that would work. Okay, so we could say, if you can't beat them, all right, we got to delete this via code. The only problem is that the strike through doesn't really look all that struck through, does it? BB code, rich text label, strike through. Yeah, they don't have a way to customize it. They just have a color that you can customize. Mystic soda. Well, what do we think? Ignore the set via code part, but this looks pretty good, right? Oh, gotta turn that off. And then we're gonna position this. Whoops-a-doodle. Position this over here. Painting over it with red text and just Don't bother crossing it out. Not sure if that's doable in Pantalone. We could put another label, but I think let's try that. Let's see what it looks like in the game. Okay, I just gave myself all the power-ups. Maybe I should just change that cheat to give me every power-up, but I have to do that every time. Also kind of want to make coin magnet maybe slightly more powerful. Okay, so here's the room. Okay, there's a W at the end. But yeah, I like this. I think it's good. I think we'll keep it. Not the W. Run.w. Alright, so how about I make ketchup mechanic a boss, and the only way to beat him is to change the language setting of the game so the bun is neutralized. Actually, I don't know if you heard me say this originally, Raimu, but I wanted to make a name input, like a link to the past name input. I wanted to make a name input screen that was always in a language that you hadn't chosen. So if you were playing from the US, it would be in like Japanese. Where's the screen? Yeah, here we go. And if you were playing in Japanese, it would be like German or something. I don't know what. So instead of register your name, you'd see text that you'd never actually recognize unless you spoke both those languages. And I thought that would be kind of funny to do. I was worried that people would just think, oh, this is an actual bug. Maybe red strike through and red run. Okay, that could potentially work. Let's try that out. So we're going to copy this over to signpost. Color equals red. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And probably an exclamation mark instead. Why is it tiny? Oh, because I didn't put it inside the bold. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Now let's do that. Hey, Trisket. It was clear. It was definitely deliberately not in your language. For some reason, I just think it'd be so funny to just have like a German game in here. It's just, except for German people. German people see it in like French or something. Space between. Well, the font isn't finalized yet. If we finalize the font, I think I'd be more willing to make that kind of change. Whoops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. All right, we got to intentionally fall. I don't want to be at a winning number of coins just yet. There we go. All right, so we got to go find that room. We're avoiding this stuff purposely. Well, I guess I can get one upgrade. Come on. Show me the room. It's never going to show up. The game hates me. Wow, it really isn't going to show up. It's like a 1 out of 15 chance. What is happening? Why is my luck so bad? Okay, here we go. I can stop complaining now. Yeah, this is great. This is a really, really great change. Should we have put a period at the end of this? Because the full sentence would have been just this bit. So it wouldn't have had punctuation. Let me see what it would look like. No, I don't know. Let's go, Busto. Thanks for the resub. Happy 14 months. And hey, Typing Hazard. Only offer localization in constructed languages like Elvish or Klingon. Yeah, just for one game at least. Everyone should overlay the join them. I think that'd be a little too tough to do with just the BB code changes. I need to make a custom thing, which I just don't feel like that. Need to strike out to end before the period. But then there'd just be a random period that's not struck through. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Yeah, I'll delete it. I think it looks better. It's a little stylistic thing that I'll do it this way. Well, it was more like, would the sign contain a period on it in the first place? And it would, but players probably won't realize that, so I think it's okay. All right, so dungeon piece, Y sort enabled got deleted from here. That seems like a problem, unless it was deleted in the root, was it? It was not. I don't understand why it decided to... Oh, I see. It was deleted because it's no longer needed. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we added the signpost. We changed a bunch of frame progress for no reason. And we deleted the period from here. Yeah, all that's fine. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, cool. Nice. Wait, why did dungeon piece change? It got different indices. Yeah, sure, whatever. All right, so add signpost. Yeah, that's it. Add signpost. All right, and then finally, add description for coin magnet that higher levels have more range and magnet power. What does it say? Automatically something. Automatically pulls nearby coins to you. Where's the boot description? We have new lines there. Yeah, maybe I just put new lines. I don't even know if it's necessary. Like higher levels grant. What is it? Have more range and power, attraction power. I don't think it's necessary. I'm just going to delete it. The thing that's prompting me to even do this at all is when my wife played the game, she did end up looking at the power-ups when she get a new one to figure out what it did, which I thought was pretty nice. But then nothing changed when she got different coin magnet level. So if you get coin magnet level 1, it just says automatically pulls nearby coins to you. Boots also just say press L or R to dash. But if you get level 2, boots now say level 2 grants invincibility, and coin magnet doesn't say anything extra. I think it's obvious enough that it's getting better. No, I'll just add it. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter, right? Like higher levels add more range and speed, maybe, and attraction power, magnet power. Add range and magnet power. I don't want to write attractiveness here. I mean, that's kind of what's happening, right? Add range and pull, maybe? I don't think that's going to be clear. Yeah, I'll just say magnet power. Yeah, it just... Add range. I don't think power alone would be good. It might make it sound like... Yeah, I'll leave it at this. I think it's at least clear what it's trying to communicate. Clarify coin magnet level ups. Yeah. More magnetism, that could potentially work. Is this 16 by 16 or 32 by 32? I think this stuff's all 16 by 16. Hey, Dr. Dink. Yeah, magnetism I think is fine. I think let's go with that. Yeah. All right, so we are done addressing the current checkpoint 2 feedback. Is there anything else I want to do before the playtest today? Hmm. Hang on, I sneeze. Excuse me. Maybe just break one of the vases ahead of time as a simple solution. This I don't think we're doing. Items popping out of the chest should probably hang in the air a bit longer. Oh yeah, particles. Add particles to items popping out of the chest. Dust when you're running. Look through those other asset packs. Standby state. Wasn't there a reason I wanted to do this? Oh, what was it? I was thinking about something like randomly in the last few days. Something about the standby state. I don't remember. Huh. It would be fun if Loot Boxes game contained a bunch of items from all the different games that end up in stuck in a broken tutorial. Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, we already have the graphics for a bunch of items from Skeleseller that we never used, and now we're finally using. So I looked at it as like, oh, good, that work wasn't for nothing. Where is that? Yeah, so in Skeleseller, we just had an armor shop, a weapon shop, and a potion shop. So practically everything from these rows, like here to here, except for the keys. We used the keys. But yeah, practically everything else, we didn't touch at all. We did end up using like the mushroom and the feather, but almost none of this other stuff. And then, yeah, we didn't use all the graphics from here either. So I like the idea of using those. We also had some animated swords, which I was thinking of adding in, but never actually did. Oh my God, I didn't put a link here. I think I know what their name was. It was like Ansimas or something. Yeah. This person. It's supposed to go there. Top-down shooter needs ending fleshed out. Then we actually let you talk to the architect. That's already done. You know what happens after that? We did that. Farming game needs to feel more broken. Okay. Well, here's where we stand right now. It is 11:10. I'm gonna stream for another maybe like 30 minutes, and then get lunch, and then after lunch maybe stream for 3 more hours. And then the play test is at like 5 or 5:30. So I have about 6 hours until the play test. If there's anything important to make it into the play test, I want to do that. We've addressed pretty much all the feedback that was important. There's some stuff for the farming game we could do. I think I kind of want to do this. Yeah, let's do this really fast. I mean, with AI, this is just so simple. In the farming sub game, before the farming sub game, second time, when this is false and you try going to town. Right now it says something. I don't know what it says. In fact, I don't even know if this is worth giving to AI. It should just be an if statement, right? Let's go into the farming game. Let's go to, well, I guess we just play normally, so let's speed this up. Okay, so if I try walking to town, what happens? Your grandfather just gave you this farm and you already want to leave it. Your grandfather just gave you this farm. Here it is. Wait, shouldn't we find this inside of a... No, yeah, here it is. Should really spruce it up. So this is cannot enter town before dream. And we trigger this through code. Yes. So we should do a quick check here and say if you're tired. So you need to check if you're fatigued. If player dot, I don't know where we even check this. Energy meter? Where is that? Is it in the farming game itself? It's the farming game itself. And does this have code to tell us if we are fatigued? Start wiggling. What does that? Start wiggling. Wiggle when low. This happens when we set this automatically. Yeah. And this inherits from meter. Right. Less than the energy exhaustion level. So here it is. So we never actually keep track of this. Well, I guess checking this from outside of here would not be that bad. Is exhausted. Here it is. This should be moved to energy meter. Yeah, I don't think it should be compared anywhere else. All right, I kind of wanted to refactor this. Refactor, what is this? Checks like this into energy meter dot is exhausted. Energy meter has its own class, right? Yes, it does. Okay. So in the farming game, when that's false and you try going to town, where does that happen? Cannot enter before town. Here it is. Yeah. I don't have any changes right now, right? Yeah. To do, check if you're exhausted here. Play the new dialogue, if so. Play dialogue, or like show dialogue saying what exactly? Town? No, that's enough for one day. Bed sounds better. Yeah. Add it where I have a to-do item right now. Also refactor checks like that. Okay, so let's just do this on local. Luna high probably should be good. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I was talking about a plan. And I think we should clean up the to-do list. Yeah, I think that's the most sensible thing. Clean up the to-do list. What are we at right now? Some ludicrous amount of characters, right? Yeah. Oh, God. In the process, if we find any dev tasks worth doing, tackle them. Also consider what we want for checkpoint 3. Probably have to do some game design. I mentioned this at the beginning of the day that I think you can broadly categorize software development as being to do creation phases and to do destruction phases. Destruction, hopefully, meaning that you're getting some stuff done, but you could just be deleting it too. And we were in a to do creation phase for the last 2 months. Now I would like to start tackling some tasks and not creating new ones for a little while. And that's what I'm generally calling our stabilization phase. Last time we spent 2 weeks on it. I don't think 2 weeks was long enough. And there are some tasks that I wanted to do back then that I didn't get to. Like I never made a Steam page. But over a week ago, I spent the $100 on the new Steam page. I just never did anything with it. So I have the credit. I can go make the page. I just haven't made the page. So I got to do that. I want to rebrand Discord. Discord is currently a Skeleseller Discord. I want to make it an Xtonomous Discord. So these are things I'm going to hopefully be able to tackle on stream. They're not like super fun tasks for me. They're probably not super fun tasks to watch, but they've got to get done. And it's just so much easier for me to do when I'm streaming because then I have more motivation. Hey, Rylan. Use Godot 4. Or got Godot 4.7. Looks cooler than Godot 4.2. Yeah, they made a lot of improvements to even the editing experience. Hey, Appleseed. All right. Yeah, this is looking good. All right, so tackle checkpoint 2. Goal end of July. We got done with that. Resume polish days on Tuesdays. I think they're non-negotiable, or else I'll always have an ever-growing to-do list of old projects. Yeah, we're about to enter a stabilization phase for a while. So I think for checkpoint 3, we'll put some of this stuff here. Checkpoint 3, goal question mark. Polish days on Tuesdays, music days on Thursdays, and fun days on Wednesdays. Except for we call it Sucky Tasks Day. Whoops. Wednesday is Fun Tasks Day. And then Thursday's Music Day. All right, so delete this stuff. Add 3 new sub-games. Top-down shooters. Second Time in the Architect's Realm. Loot boxes. Medieval Dungeon Racer. Yeah, we did all that stuff. Feels good. Feels good. All right, post-checkpoint questions. Can I answer any of these right now? Pacing. We can roughly divide the game into story beats and sub-games. How does the momentum feel for the story beats? So we ended up increasing the rate at which you get story beats now. Now they're after every single game. And both people who playtested so far said that that was pretty good. And they said it was very intriguing. So awesome. Now I did end up asking, hey, how long should the demo be? And I think my friend said, like, oh, I think what you have right now is pretty good. And I was like, this is like an hour and a half, though. I don't know how long the game's going to be, but I don't want to give away like 4 months of development for free, I think. So I got to figure that out still. Why do you think polishing is sucky? I love polishing. I don't mind polishing for small amounts of time. But I think at least for video games, like, let's say you do a month of development. I think it almost usually, like, at least for me, it seems to mean that you just created like 2 weeks of polish work. Maybe not exactly that ratio, I don't know, but it's just too much. And if I put it all toward the end of the project, actually, how much did it end up being? I guess for Skeleseller, it was like 15 months of development meant 2 months of polish, maybe 3 months. Maybe it was like 14 and 3. So yeah, it's more like a 4-to-1 ratio, I guess. Anyway, saving it all for the end is just the most misery I've had doing game development. So I want to spread it out. And then, yeah, it's not too bad when you do it that way. I think so much of my process that I've come up with is how to work around my psyche. Like, I don't want to save all those things till the end, so I do them ahead of time. Yeah, sure, it's probably not the best way of doing things because you might end up polishing something that gets deleted from the game. But that's better to me than saving everything for the end and doing it all at once. All right, how much do people interact with the worlds when it's not required? Ooh, that is a good question. Let me think back to my friend playing. The platformer, he actually explored a decent amount of it. Not that there's much to explore. The farming game, he did a little bit. I don't think the game rewarded you as much for exploring. Even something like the sickle, not sickling anything. So I just changed this recently. I showed it this morning, but for anyone who hasn't seen, when you sickle these plants up now, it does a little animation. That's it. And it gets rid of the plant. And actually, I think this is not just cosmetic. I think there are bushes you can't walk through. Do we see any of those? Is this? No, that's not one. Okay, well, I think they exist in town. They're not here. But yeah, anyway, being able to sickle this up is like, you got rewarded for trying something, you know? And a lot of people do try sickling up this grass here. And yeah, now it works. The other thing you might have just seen is that now there's a sprite that gets emitted for everything you dig up, which I think is very cool. Because it used to be they just get deleted immediately. I mean, this looks great. And yeah, this is what rewards you for exploring. Like, yeah, when you water something, it does what you'd expect. This is not a broken expectation kind of thing. And same thing with planting seeds. The axe does not work how you expect. And yeah, I thought this was pretty funny. This is one of those things where I don't know how many people will laugh out loud upon seeing this, but I always chuckle when I see someone do this. Polishing somewhat early actually motivates me. Seeing some finalized assets and things makes the game feel real. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there are a lot of benefits to doing it that way. And if you enjoy it, I mean, all the more power to you. But yeah, anyone who plays your game then is gonna be like, wow, yeah, this feels like a Like they have to envision less to think if your game is fun or not. How many more months you want to dev on this? I think probably another 12 to 18. I asked my wife, like, how long would you want this game to be? And she said, I don't know, 20, 30 hours. I'm like, what? That's not happening. But it was a good indicator to me that she was having fun at least. And I think I talked to my friend, and I think he said something in the like 6 to 10 hour range. We have spent 4 months, and I have made probably 90 minutes of gameplay. So if I spend 1 year and we keep up at the same pace, that's going to be what, 3 times that, so 270 minutes of gameplay, which is 3.5 hours. That's not how that works. 4.5 hours. Let's do math. That would mean that 2 years of development would put us in this range. I think that's probably reasonable, but that assumes that I can come up with enough ideas and I can flesh this stuff out. So anyway, yeah, we'll just see where this goes. I have an overarching plan here. Yeah, general roadmap. 2026, prove out the idea, have 30 to 45 minutes of fun improving gameplay. I think we're already there. So yeah, then 2027, I had build on those ideas, make the game as good as we can. How long would it take to make another hour, to add another hour of gameplay? How long does it take? And how many hours of gameplay do we want? I think like 7 seems like a good target to me. Advertising is often 33% of the budget, and this is going to be a 12-month project, but this as a demo seem reasonable to add. It might be, yeah. It's still hard to say, because I think for any demo, you want it to be as small as it can be while still convincing the most people to buy the game. Now, most people are not going to have the crazy like metrics collection to be able to figure that out exactly, right? Like some mega company like Microsoft or Blizzard or whatever could probably do that. But as an indie dev, are you going to figure out like, well, I made the demo 5 minutes longer and it increased sales by 12%? Like, maybe, I don't know, but you're probably not going to spend all that time doing it. So we got to just make a judgment call at some point. Can you theoretically just add more longevity to each sub game quite easily? You can to some extent. You got to be a little bit careful. Like we have in the platformer, we have just a mechanic of jumping, double jumping, and dashing. And I guess double jump and dash, so you can dash, jump, dash again. And that's it. So like we don't have attacks, we don't have enemies, we don't have any other things you can do. So you're just running through this thing. Could we expand this a bit? Yes. We'd probably have to do a lot of coding for it. So it wouldn't just be like add more world and have this part be fun. I don't think that would be fun. You'd have to add like springboards and enemies and attacks or power-ups or something. So at that point, it's probably better to just focus on a new game. Kind of the same thing with the farming game. I don't really think like farming games in general are meant to be games you play over the course of a month or 5 months of real time. So like, how do you make a farming game fun in 5 minutes? You probably don't. So we just do a bunch of like little goofy things here, like digging up houses. But yeah, other games lend themselves much better to this. So like the Dungeon Racer, I could totally see adding another entire world here. We build on the mechanics a bit, but we don't change the rules too much. Maybe you get a boomerang or a bow. Maybe you get, I don't know, do you like fill out your whole inventory here? Remove the portal at the market level. Get 20 to 30 hours. Do you have a hype man posting shorts? No. How many people did you let play this game before you determine it's fun enough? Wondering generally. Did I let play? I mean, so far it has been a total of 6 unique people who have played. It was 5 in checkpoint 1 and then 1 in checkpoint 2 so far. It'll be 3 more this week though. And then my wife played twice. So she doesn't count as a unique person for checkpoint 2. So it will have been 10 people who play tested as of like roughly the August 1st build. Now, checkpoint 1, I got mixed feedback because the game was only 2 games. It was the platformer, which again is not supposed to be anything more than this. You literally, the entirety of this game is always going to be, I'm going to play it from start to finish so you can see it. It's always supposed to be this short. And players aren't zipping over here as fast as I am, but this. This is the end of it. You get to this, you try to jump, you can't, you fall down, you fall through the world. So that I don't ever plan on expanding, and it's not like super fun on its own. And then you go from that to the farming game, which was supposed to be more for the sake of story. So I don't think that was great for Checkpoint 1. People still said like, okay, it's, you know, intriguing enough. They had enough fun, but yeah, now we've expanded it to some actually fun games. Like so far, both my friend and my wife like loved this game. They had a bunch of fun here. Yeah, I don't know. I made some little changes. Like I outlined the crates now because my friend was trying to shoot all these crates and he like kept doing it. And I don't blame him. They look like they're destructible, but they're not. So I put an outline around these. And yeah, these little things help and they make the game a little bit more fun. OST never loops. No, it loops. It's got a loop. How are the worlds tied together? In every world, and if Matt or Kevin is watching, do not watch this part. But in every world, there is some like way of breaking out of the game. So in this one, this is one of my favorite ways. You beat the boss. It throws a bunch of power potions out of it. And you get enough of them, and you start shooting 5 ways at once. You're still trapped in this room, though, but then you figure out you can destroy this wall. It blows up in spectacular fashion, and you just walk outside the game. And now you're back in the Architect's realm. And you get to here. And then this teleports you into the next game. So I'm just going to speed through this, and we get banished into the new game. So yeah, that's how they connect. Make a complete game, then spend a month to optimize it. And live in a world where games like Cyberpunk can be optimized with no bugs on release. Make sure to style like the UI. Yeah. I think, like, if you consider indie devs versus AAA game devs, the biggest difference is usually resources. Like, you have more people working on a AAA game. You have more money working toward, well, not working toward it, but like you have more money for a AAA game. Your scope can just be so much bigger. If you are an independent developer and you consider that even if you pipeline your tasks, and any given day you're focused probably mostly on one thing, like either dev for new features, maybe fixes, maybe polish, maybe you're working on UI or UX at some point, maybe you're doing story or game design. It's like you're not going to do 14 different things in a given day probably. So yeah, some people might prioritize polish a little bit higher up the list, or UI a little bit higher up the list, or getting your artwork done earlier. And then some people have like programmer art and yeah, just a plain font and very functional UI that is not pretty. And they focus on the gameplay. It transports you out, so you can eventually equip a shield out of a minigame that reflects it. A mirror shield. These are the first type of game as a transition between the others, or at some point recurring. You could reuse the same map but add parts. Figure out the new path to the new game. I'm not totally sure yet. I think that some games will lend themselves well to being extended and some will not. So as an example, a loot boxes game, I don't think it's bad, but I think it stays for exactly as long as it's welcome. Like you have this many perks you can upgrade, and the game takes about 20 minutes to beat from start to finish. At the end of it, are there going to be people who want to play for an extra 20 minutes? Maybe. And maybe I can do something to make them happy. Maybe I could let you come back to this world and it's like hard mode all of a sudden, and I don't know, there are thieves trying to steal your items or something. But otherwise, I think this is pretty good. And I don't think we should expand this at all. So yeah, if we do decide to expand something, we'd have to figure out how it fits in. First game is cute. A pity to only use it once. Well, that's part of what I think makes this game kind of interesting. Like, it was a lot of work to make that platformer. And yeah, for it to only be used for 1 or 2 minutes is a little bit of a letdown for me. But for a player, they'd just be like, yeah, well, whatever. It's a fun game, right? It's neat to see all these different worlds. And actually, that's the feedback I got from both playtesters and Checkpoint 2 so far. Is like, by jumping from game to game, you don't know what to expect. And this is a positive in their minds. Like, it's not like, okay, well, I'm getting bored of this. I'm stuck here or something. It's like, oh, well, what am I going to see next? What is going to happen? Who is that person? Who's the architect? Yeah. So I like how things are progressing so far. Like I said, there are 3 more playtesters this week. I'm not over indexing on any individual person just yet. We tackled some of the feedback. There's some other stuff I just want to keep an eye on. But I think things are going pretty well. Also, everyone said that they like the music, which I'm very happy with. So I'm glad that effort has been worthwhile. My wife was humming along with the loot boxes music, which came from Skeleseller, because she's heard that a bunch of times by now. Because I used to compose it on the piano, and she would hear me playing it. All right, I was looking through some of these questions. So how much do people interact with the world when it's not required? And I started talking about the farming game and then talking about sickling. I think there's a decent amount happening. I think the loot boxes game does need to get cleaned up a bit. I wonder if I should add in the apple trees today. I kind of want to. Oh, I never even looked at this. Is this done? Sure. Add apple trees to the loot boxes game. It's just another little thing to pass the time while waiting. The trees should mostly be in view of the items so that you don't have to go too far. It may also be nice to have multiple apples per tree and you only take one at a time. Maybe we don't even show an interaction outline, but they like recharge over time. Consider adding apple seeds. Well, we'll add apples and the apples have seeds, so we are adding you in the game. Cool if you go back and the buffs you acquire in other realms carry through. Yeah, I think something like that could potentially happen. And all of this needs to fit in with the story too. So part of this is like, what do people say playing what they see now? What do they want eventually? Like what we have right now is we have game 1 goes to game 2, goes to game 3, and so on and so forth until you get to the final game. But at some point, people might want like a fork for one of these. You can go from here to, why is this not working? You go from here to game 2A, or go downward to game 2B. And then from here, maybe you go to like game 6, and from here you go to game 7, and then from here you go back to game 3 or something. And by doing this now, people take a different path through the game. I'm not sure how I want to do this. Yeah, I'm not sure how I want to do this. I kind of like at the end of Mega Man X, there was the boss room. How do am I even thinking of this correctly? Was this in Mega Man X? This is in one of the X games. Anyway, whatever. They did something like this in some of the Mega Man X games where you would enter this room and you had to fight all 8 bosses again. And you could pick which order you wanted to do it in. Now, it didn't really matter. You had to fight them all. So it's like, I guess which ones were easiest for you or which ones would make you lose the least life or something. I'm not really sure if there was a strategy to this. But that could be kind of interesting. That at some point the architect is just like, you know what? Here are portals to all of the worlds that I made. You go figure it out. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we need to do that in our checkpoint 3 planning. Do we want to allow players to pick which game they end up in? Would it impact anything? Order that they choose impact anything other than steering them toward games that they might like. Also, how would that fit with the story? The architect giving you the choice is pretty much all that would need to happen for NPCs to become agents. Apply some new skill learn. So if it's a linear game, the thing that's difficult about this is since they're all different sub games, it's like, okay, let's say you're playing Tetris and you get a I don't know, a fire power up or something. So now you go play like a Super Metroid style game and you've got a fire beam from the Tetris game. It's like if you never went into this Super Metroid game to begin with, you wouldn't have known that you didn't have a fire beam to start in that game. So it's almost as though you didn't get the power up and you just happen to start in this game with a fire beam anyway. I hope that made sense. But yeah, unless you went to all the games first and there was backtracking required, you wouldn't know. So like in Super Mario 64, when you first encounter the wing cap boxes, they're transparent. You can't touch them. So you can't get the wing cap. And then you unlock the wing cap, you come back to these stages, and now all of a sudden you can fly in those stages. So you recognize that, oh, I got this ability that I know I didn't have before. And I mean, that's how a lot of games with backtracking work. I don't think backtracking is great for this game because I think the way backtracking plays out from like a metagame perspective is it always makes you question, can I do this thing right now? So when you play a game like Castlevania or Banjo-Kazooie or something, you encounter, I don't know, a barricade or something, and you try your sword and it doesn't work, and you try your whip and it doesn't work, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I just can't do this right now. And it turns out you can, but you didn't figure out the right solution, and you just thought it was because of backtracking. It's like, I think it can add to games, but I think it can also detract from them. Hey, John Rando. You can choose, but you still have to do them all. Yeah. I'll think about this in a bit. I just, yeah, I'm torn for now. It's also got to fit with the story. Is there experience? There's no experience in the game right now. Yeah, there probably will be a game that has experience points. Eat the apple, use the seeds and poison darts. So to be clear, the apples I'm talking about were just like apples that grow on trees that you pick for money. And this game is a reference to Skeleseller. Hopefully this is booting up. I actually don't know if it is. No, it's not. Okay. I'm in the wrong project altogether. Give me, no, actually, let's just paper over this. Yeah, anyway, the apples would just be for money. All right, let's go check this in because I got to get lunch pretty soon. So this was done directly on here. So energy meter now is exhausted. That looks good. That is also good. I like that. Can I enter town? Town, no, that's enough for one day. Bed sounds better. That's good. This will help steer people toward the bed. We check this here. Bed tired, bed not tired. That's fine. Town before dream. Cannot enter town when exhausted. Yeah. Perfecto. Yeah. What plugs in the text there? It's strange. I don't know what plugs this in. I must have done this. I know it's working. I just don't remember any of this. Huh. Well, whatever. It's working. I guess that's all that matters. I must have it plumb in the speaker. I would assume that we always have a speaker though. All right, so we are going to the farming game and we're going to test this out. So we're going to go to play normally, no, free play. And I'm going to speed up and we're going to try run into town and it should say the thing about sprucing up the farm. Yeah. No, wait, that's not right. Oh, I'm already drat. Okay, we got to redo this. Oh, can I not trigger this anymore? There we go. Okay, your grandfather just gave you this farm and you want to leave it. You should really spruce it up. All right, so we do a bunch of stuff. We put a bunch of seeds down. I'm just going to run around. Yeehaw. All right, are we tired yet? Yeah, now we're tired. Now we try running over here. Town? No, that's enough for one day. Bed sounds better. This wouldn't be your conscience talking, though. Who should be talking here? Your brain, maybe? Maybe just as player? Maybe the powers effects get altered. What are you talking about, Rylan? Is this for a particular sub game, or do you just mean like in general? Because yeah, we might come back to this idea at some point of like game A can affect game B. Yeah, so this should not be your conscience. I don't know who it should be. Maybe just player name. Yeah, I think I like that better. Yeah. All right. Let's do that. Because it's you saying it out loud, right? Or you thinking it. Either way, it's you. It's you consciously doing this. So we're going to do this, and that is not right. I meant free play. I think it's fine for now. I don't think it's great. Add message indicating you should go to bed. Okay. Like when you go to a sub game that's not about fighting, the fire effect can make you run faster. Yeah, I think this all has to do with the backtracking thing, though. Like I said, like you're in game A and you get a power up intended for game B. So now you're in game B, you use that power up. If you couldn't get to game B before game A, then you as a player wouldn't know how game B was ever supposed to play out. So we need to reverse the order. And then we have something in game B you cannot do until you go to game A first. Like I said, I think there are pros and cons of doing things this way. And I just got to think through them more thoroughly. And I don't think now's the time to do that exactly. All right, I need a sound for entering the stairs. The one we have isn't great. I don't really have a sound for this, though, do I? Or maybe we just don't attenuate it? Where does it happen? Staircase? Player entered. Well, listens for this. Each individual room does it. Player left room. Play staircase sounds. Yeah, here it is. Play step rock. Okay, so we need to bypass rate limiting. How do we do that? We don't have a way of doing that? Whoa. All right, well, I guess we need to make a new sound effect for it then. Alternatively, I change play so it lets me bypass rate limiting. I don't have a way of doing this, do I? Bypass attenuation. Here, just get volume %. We don't have a way of playing such that we ignore this. Well, that's fun. Well, there's another way we could accomplish this. We just make a staircase sound thing. Yeah, let's try it. Say step rock or like player descend stairs. So we're going to just copy paste this over to here and say bypass attenuation is true. And then instead of playing this, we play stairs. There. Now we try it out. All right. So we go into what, the dungeon racer? Yeah. All right, now we got to listen. I'll turn this up for myself. So you hear that tick, tick, tick as I walk? If you continue walking, it gets quieter and quieter. When I take the stairs, it should play at full volume. Yeah, but that sounds stupid. And this would play at a lower volume, I guess. Like 0.9 or maybe 0.8, 0.6. And slightly longer in between plays. Let's try that. Hey, Jerome. And hey, Rizzy, what if you make the staircase step sound via Audacity microphone? Can we hear a sample? Like I just walked down a staircase. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's listen for this room. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah. That's it. Nice. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, neat. Add proper staircase sound. Whoop, whoop. Hello. Oh, I can snooze this ad one more time. It's actually the same sounds we already had, but now it bypasses attenuation and decreases in volume due to using hard-coded volumes. It sounds a lot better. All right, where was that on the list? Done with that. We have zombie portraits, so maybe you should talk to a zombie or a skeleton. Wait, what? How would you talk to a skeleton? We don't have skeleton portraits. What was I thinking? Monsters, skeletons. Yeah, we don't have dialogue. But we do for zombies for some reason. Where are those? There, portraits. They're very cutesy looking zombies. They have all of them at once. Yeah, here we go. Well, they're cutesier when they're small. I guess this looks a little bit scarier than cutesy here. But yeah, we could have them talking to you. I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea. I want to write this down somewhere, and I'm not sure where. So maybe we'll just file in an issue full of like random little polish or story ideas somewhere. Achievement ideas. Position dialogue platform correctly. What is this? Oh, this is stupid. I cut this game for now, so I'm going to close this task even though it's not done yet. Not planned. No, I don't think it belongs in GitHub issues. I think it belongs over here somewhere. Specific mechanic ideas. Maybe we add a section like ideas for games we already developed. All right, what are we doing here? We're gonna go look at dungeon gathering. Find the monsters one. And then put that over here. Dungeon gathering came with portraits for zombies, but not skeletons or slimes. We could have a zombie NPC / agent that you can talk to. Maybe it's way off the beaten path. We could even pull a Nimbus land and make a wall or make a fake wall and an invisible platform for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Nimbus land, what was it called? The lazy shell? Oh yeah, how were people supposed to figure this out? Nah, I shouldn't read that now. This. In Super Mario RPG, you could just walk off the side of the world and you'd find this guy over here. And it was for getting a really powerful set of items. But yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to discover this on your own. So yeah, I wonder if we do this in a game where there's just some wall you can walk through and you typically don't figure that out. Maybe it's a bombable wall. We could put it through a bombable wall. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. Maybe it's beyond a bombable wall. It could even be a dungeon piece that you're expected to die on. Or to fall from. I don't know. Let's write it down. Okay, delete that. Make sure we extracted all strings. It should just be UI stuff. Maybe I added labels. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. Zombies go crazy in this room. We can fix that. Particles as to items popping out of chests. That would be kind of nice to do. I think this is fine. Add the dust when running. Oh, you know what we should do is like add slightly more visual interest to the dungeon or the floor. We have so many other assets as part of dungeon gathering that I never used. I don't think we need to do this. Wait, what about that though? Lower the idle time since 10 seconds is kind of crazy. Yeah, let's take a look at this. How long does it feel like? So if I'm walking around here, this is using walk animations. When we stop, it uses idle. If I just leave my controller on my desk, we eventually play the idle animation, or the standby animation. No, that's it. But that's 10 seconds apparently. I don't think anyone will ever discover this right now. I think we just leave it for right now though. Yeah. No, let's just leave it on the list. I should probably get going pretty soon. Yeah, all right, let's write this here where I left off. Look for the YLO mark. And add apple trees. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I'll start that this afternoon. Does it make sense? I think it makes sense. I think it'd be a fun thing. Then like manually place 3 of these. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go get lunch. It is about noon. I'll be gone for about an hour. I'll come back. We'll stream for another 2-3 hours, something like that. And then I have my playtest session in the evening. So I'll report back on that tomorrow. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. So thank you all for watching. This will probably be how the next, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks of streaming will look. There will be some dev tasks. There'll be some cleanup, some planning, some game design, some just everything. A bunch of different tasks. So I will hopefully see you all after lunch. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. Until next time.